Chapter 1886. The Sky Desolate War Halberd was too heavy. Night Sorrow felt that if he hadn't cultivated his body, he wouldn't have been able to lift it at all. He couldn't estimate how heavy it was. Night Sorrow ran in front while Imotinji chased from behind. Imotinji's speed was too fast. Even after using Void Step, Night Sorrow was barely able to maintain his distance. "Captain, let's just kill her." Long Jean appeared and returned to the clear sky godly pagoda after a palm strike. "Run first. Don't come out. This woman isn't that easy to kill." Night Sorrow communicated with Long Jean. Long Jean appeared to attack. He wanted to give Long Jean time to return to the clear sky godly pagoda. This would delay their escape. "Captain, you know her?" Long Jean asked. "She's the Imotinji I mentioned to you. She didn't possess the Emperor's body. She fused with it," Night Sorrow said to Long Jean. Long Jean didn't say anything. He didn't expect Night Sorrow to be right. Imotinji was one of the three great heavens of the Demon Wing clan. She had lived for countless years. Whether it was combat experience, combat strength, or life experience, they couldn't compare to her. Kill. It definitely wasn't that easy to kill. "Little brat, it's your bad luck to meet me. Let's see if you can run away today." Imotinji was very excited because everything was in front of her. As long as she dealt with Night Sorrow, she would have the opportunity to rise again. She could also take back the fate of the Demon Wing clan. "You're too arrogant. A woman who can't even control her body dares to say anything?" Long Jean provoked Imotinji as Night Sorrow ran. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Imotinji retorted when she heard Long Jin's voice. "Isn't your original body in the hands of our captain, the little cub you speak of, Yishan? Then wouldn't our captain be able to touch and play with her however she wanted? So what right do you have to be arrogant?" After Long Jin's voice came out, Night Sorrow's breathing became difficult, let alone Imotinji. Long Jin's words were too vicious. Imotinji was one of the founders of the Demon Wing clan civilization. Long Jin's words were no different from stabbing her in the heart. "Night Sorrow, I will make you beg for death." Imotinji was infuriated because she felt that this kind of situation was truly possible. If her body had truly been desecrated, she would have felt it and known. However, if it was just a touch, she still wouldn't know. Moreover, she felt that it was very possible. In her impression, Night Sorrow wasn't a good person. So excited. Night Sorrow noticed that Imotinji's aura was unstable, which affected her speed. He did not try to defend himself against the dirty water that Long Jean had splashed on him because it was very harmful to Imotinji. "Little brat." Imotinji didn't know how to vent her anger. The 3,000 feet long white hair attacked Night Sorrow's back. However, the distance between them wasn't within her attack range. Her attacks all landed behind Night Sorrow. Her thighs are very white, and that's also very big. Seeing that it was effective, Night Sorrow also started a verbal battle. Imotinji was too vicious. He had no choice but to play along with Long Jin's words and use psychological warfare. Imotinji stopped cursing. She used her domain to increase her speed. Her white hair tore through space and whipped towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also used his domain to increase his speed and increase the distance between them. However, he was still very close to Imotinji's attack range. The distance between them was less than 3,000 feet. However, Imotinji's white hair needed time to fly. Attacking Night Sorrow, who was flying at extreme speed, the attack range of the 3,000 feet white hair was only half of that. "Captain, how does it feel to touch one of the three great heavens of the Demon Wing clan?" Long Jean was very naughty. He realized that Imotinji was hitting where it hurt. "That goes without saying." "Ah." Night Sorrow was now confident. Imotinji's speed was almost the same as his. It wouldn't be easy for her to catch up to him. After running for a while, Night Sorrow's clone appeared. Then he switched places with his original body and carried the Sky Desolate War Halberd. His original body entered the Haotian Godly Pagoda to rest. He had to be in peak condition at all times. Night Sorrow's original body and clone switched places to rest. Imotinji couldn't switch places. She didn't have a clone. "This woman is too vicious. She rushed all the way to where we found the Sky Desolate War Halberd. She didn't rest or recover. If she was in peak condition, we would be in a dire situation." Night Sorrow greeted Long Jean and entered the area where time was 50 times faster to recover. Seeing Night Sorrow's original body and clone switch places, Imotinji's beautiful eyes flashed. She was extremely annoyed. Night Sorrow was too infuriating. If it was in the past, she could deal with Night Sorrow with just a strand of her hair, let alone a finger. Even now, if she was in peak condition, it wouldn't be a problem. In order to make the best use of time, she flew all the way. The energy in her body was less than 50% of her usual. In the chase, the two left the battlefield of Broken Sky Mountain. The void purple light snake also appeared. Night Sorrow used his virtuous domain to suppress the void purple light snake. After the void purple light snake couldn't attack him, he continued to run. Imo-Chinji couldn't take it anymore. She retracted her white hair that was attacking Night Sorrow from time to time and formed a protective cocoon to block the void purple light snake's attacks. Under such circumstances, her speed slowed down. However, Night Sorrow's speed didn't change. The gap between the two began to widen. Alexia knew fastest Alexia, and Night Sorrow, when I catch you, I'll bite you to death to relieve the hatred in my heart, Imo-Chinji cursed as she chased. Hurry up and take back what you just said. I've refined 2 clones and 1 is outside. If you treat me like this, I'm going to do something to your body. If it's now, can you still chase me so hard? Yishan shouted at Imo-Chinji, who was trying to intimidate him. Don't forget your promise to the Devil Wing clan. Did you take those resources for nothing? Imo-Chinji was furious. What kind of situation is this? You're telling me this? Besides, how did I negotiate with that idiot from your Devil Wing clan? I promised you that I wouldn't give your body to anyone else. Listen carefully, I won't give it to anyone else. So, no matter what I want to do, I won't go back on my promise, Night Sorrow shouted. 2 clones? Are you trying to scare me, Imo-Chinji? Imo-Chinji's soul power supported the energy in her body. She maintained her speed to keep up with Night Sorrow and not be left behind. How can I prove it? Then I'll have to test your body. You'll feel it, Night Sorrow said. At this time, Night Sorrow's 9 clones were in the space below Sealed Sky God Tower. If he could scare Imo-Chinji away, that would be the best result. Of course, Yishan couldn't do such a blasphemy. He looked at Imo-Chinji's body, which seemed to be sleeping soundly. Night Sorrow reached out and grabbed a white thread. He pulled, but the result was different from what Night Sorrow expected. He didn't break it at all. Chapter 1887. Little brat, stop right now. Imo-Chinji screamed at Night Sorrow. 3,000 feet white hair was one of her talents. If a strand of her hair was pulled off, her soul would naturally feel it. If you keep chasing, I will rip off your clothes. Don't think I am a petty person. You are an old demon from the Demon Wing clan. I can do anything to protect myself. Night Sorrow threatened Imo-Chinji. Imo-Chinji stopped. She really didn't dare to continue chasing because she knew that Yishang still had a clone outside. In order to survive and attack her, it was possible that he would do anything. Not bad. Don't chase. Night Sorrow carried the Sky Baron War Halberd and continued running. Seeing Night Sorrow's straight body under the Sky Baron War Halberd, Imo-Chinji felt that Night Sorrow was her nemesis. As long as she fought against Night Sorrow, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. Seeing Night Sorrow disappear, Imo-Chinji entered her spatial treasure to recover. She was in a bad state and couldn't do anything. She knew this very well. Imo-Chinji recovered from the time acceleration and continued to fly towards the area she sensed. At this moment, her mind was filled with Night Sorrow. When she thought of Night Sorrow's domain of golden light, Imo-Chinji bit her lips. She knew she had been tricked. That was the power of merits. Back then, Night Sorrow also used his power of merits to help Yen Wushuang trick her. Imo-Chinji estimated that Night Sorrow's power of merits was at the peak of the Emperor level. It was not easy to obtain this power of merits. It was the recognition of the heavenly Tao. There were some things he wouldn't do. Imo-Chinji was very angry. She felt that being forced to retreat by a little brat was a deep humiliation. If she didn't deal with Night Sorrow, then Night Sorrow would become her heart demon that could never be removed. Night Sorrow carried the Sky Baron War Halberd and ran. He was also dizzy because he couldn't put it away no matter what he did. Long Jean, help me think of a way. Night Sorrow said to Long Jean. I will help you hold it for a while. Long Jean appeared in Night Sorrow's domain and carried the Sky Baron War Halberd. Holding the Sky Baron War Halberd, Long Jean staggered. What is this thing? You should carry it yourself. I can carry it, but I don't have the speed. Night Sorrow had no choice but to continue running while carrying the halberd. He didn't know how to put it away. If he didn't put it away, then the danger would always be there. The reason was very simple. If Imo-Chinji could find the Sky Wasteland Combat Halberd, then it was very likely that she was related to it. If he didn't put it away, then he would be constantly hunted down by Imo-Chinji. Night Sorrow's 9-domain doppelganger found Lin Piaomiao and asked her to ask the Grand Elder and the others how to resolve this matter. When he came, no one told him. King Yawu, the mayor, and the Grand Elder, who had not left the heavenly wasteland city, were very happy when they heard this because Night Sorrow had succeeded. K0Y Yong 4 Geo 5 Free F V caret look at RZ small. Say in Pyamyao, we all know that space treasures of the same level can't accommodate each other. This principle is also applicable in other places. The Sky Baron War Halberd is the most precious treasure of the Demon Wing clan. It's the weapon of destiny of the Demon Wing clan. If it isn't refined, no space treasure can contain it. The mayor said. Night Sorrow didn't have time to study or refine it. Mo Chinji is chasing him. He said that the halberd is extremely heavy. Lin Piaomyao was a little anxious. I thought that after countless years the Sky Baron War Halberd was just a weapon. Even if the Demon Wing clan took it back, they would have to use the destiny of the entire clan to nourish it. Our people can also take it. But the situation is different from what we expected. The Sky Baron War Halberd is still the same weapon. Tell Night Sorrow that his own safety is the most important thing. If he can't use the Sky Baron War Halberd, then throw it away. The mayor said. Throw away the Sky Baron War Halberd? Isn't that too regretful? The Grand Elder said unwillingly. The weapon of destiny of the Demon Wing clan isn't that easy to take. If Night Sorrow was an emperor and a cultivator of the 9 emperors' trials of the heavenly Tao, he might be able to handle it if he had time. But now that he has it, it's a crisis. King Yawu said. Let's do that. Piaomyao, tell Night Sorrow to throw it away if he can't use it. The mayor made the decision. Lin Piaomyao left the Sky Baron city and returned to the 9 regions world. She told Night Sorrow's clone about the mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder's decision. Throw it away? No way. I spent so much effort and ran so far with it. Now you want me to throw it away? Let the Demon Wing clan take it back? Absolutely not. Night Sorrow was unwilling. He didn't want the Demon Wing clan to take back the Sky Baron War Halberd. In the reincarnation battlefield, Night Sorrow's clone was still running with the Sky Baron War Halberd. The original body in the Haotian Godly Pagoda was also discussing countermeasures with Long Jin. We can't throw it away. It's obviously something good. After hearing the mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder's decision, Long Jin was also unwilling. We definitely won't throw it away. Even if we run with Mo Tianji for 2 years, we won't throw it away. Night Sorrow's attitude was also very firm. Captain, maybe that woman was scared by us and stopped chasing us. Long Jin said. Impossible. She'll definitely chase after us. She might even attack us from the shadows. She's the 3rd Grand Heaven of the Demon Wing clan. She was once one of the strongest experts of the Demon Wing clan. Her will is very strong. She's not someone we can destroy with just a few words. Yi Shan shook his head. You can't really do anything to her body. This is indeed a problem. Long Jin understood Night Sorrow and knew that there were some things that Night Sorrow wouldn't do. Yes. If you can think of it, how can that smart and cunning woman not think of it? So the 2 of us are now in danger. Night Sorrow said. Then we'll study it while running. We'll prepare to play with her for 2 years. Long Jin was also a ruthless person. His will was also very firm. Then we won't leave Broken Sky Mountain. My light of virtue can suppress the void purple light snake, so I have an advantage over her. When my original body refines it, my doppelganger will be on guard with you. When she appears, we'll fight. If we can't win, we'll run. Running away is not a problem. Then we'll find a place to refine it. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. I like this tactic. Let's begin. Long Jin said with a smile. After finding a place without the void purple light snake, Night Sorrow released the Haotian Godly Pagoda. His original body sat at the top of the pagoda and studied the Sky Desolation Halberd in time acceleration. His doppelganger and Long Jin were on guard. When the void purple light snake appeared, Night Sorrow released his light of virtue domain. Then he and Long Jin began to kill it. Night Sorrow placed the Sky Desolation Halberd on his legs and held the Human Emperor's seal in his left hand. He activated the Fire of Virtue and rushed towards the Sky Desolation Halberd. Mo Tianji, who was flying according to the guidance of the demon ancestor's hair on her finger, realized that her target was not moving. She increased her speed. Originally, she thought that Night Sorrow couldn't put away the Sky Desolation Halberd. He would either abandon it or continue to run. He shouldn't stop. Chapter 1888. In order to deal with the Sky Wasteland War Halberd as soon as possible, Night Sorrow sent his virtuous fire and soul power into the Sky Wasteland War Halberd. Black energy. The Sky Wasteland War Halberd was filled with black destructive energy. The black destructive energy was extremely violent as it resisted Night Sorrow's soul power and virtuous fire. Most #= new chapter by Night Sorrow controlled the virtuous fire and started refining the destructive energy within the Sky Wasteland War Halberd. In order to refine a magic treasure or weapon, the first step was to obliterate all other auras within the magic treasure or weapon. When the magic treasure or weapon was completely permeated and contaminated with one's own aura, the refinement of the magic treasure or weapon would be complete. Under the Haotian Godly Pagoda's time acceleration, Night Sorrow's virtuous fire and soul power continued to battle with the energy within the Sky Wasteland War Halberd. As time passed, Night Sorrow and Long Jin's alertness increased. The more time passed, the higher the possibility of Mo Tianji getting closer. 6 hours had passed in the real world, but Night Sorrow's main body had refined it for more than 7 days. Night Sorrow decided to leave. The longer he stayed, the more dangerous it would be. Night Sorrow's doppelganger and main body switched places. He put Long Jin into the Haotian Godly Pagoda and his doppelganger carried the Sky Wasteland War Halberd and started running. As soon as Night Sorrow started running, Mo Tianji, who had been slowly moving within the spatial magic treasure, could not wait any longer. She could only attack. She was very angry. Just a little bit more. If she had a little more time, she would have been able to get closer and deal a heavy blow to Yi Shang. But because of Yi Shang's sudden decision, her plan was disrupted. Seeing Mo Tianji appear, Night Sorrow released his domain. With the support of his domain, he used the void step to dodge Mo Tianji's fluttering white hair attack and ran. "Little brat, I used up a lot of energy last time and could not catch up to you. Let's see how you're going to run this time." Although she had lost the best chance to launch a sneak attack, Mo Tianji was still very confident. "You think too much. I don't care if you used up a lot or not." Night Sorrow's doppelganger took out the Blood Qilin evil slaying spear and used the Void Extreme Kill to break the spatial barrier. He did not slow down at all as he charged into the spatial turbulence. And supported by his domain to the maximum, he flew into the spatial magic treasure. Mo Tianji had peak monarch cultivation. With her cultivation peak monarch cultivation and an even higher realm cultivation, she was a monarch realm monarch, and a peak monarch realm monarch. Yi. And Yi. Could attacks. With was hers? Why did Night Sorrow enter the spatial turbulence? It was because he heard Mo Tianji's words. Last time he could not catch up because he used up a lot of energy. This time he did not use up any energy. "Captain, leaving is a life-saving decision. If we left a little later and this woman came closer to launch a sneak attack, we would not be able to stop her." Long Jin, who was in the Haotian Godly Pagoda, said. He had seen the power of Mo Tianji's white hair. It was too terrifying. Night Sorrow's real body, who was standing beside Long Jin, took a sip of wine. "I knew something was wrong. So this woman was hiding in the dark. She wants to bite us." Night Sorrow's real body refined the Sky Wasteland War Halberd. He used his power of virtue to activate the Human Emperor's seal. He continued to refine it. His consumption was also replenished. Being targeted by a woman like her is scarier than having a thorn in one's back. Long Jin nodded. He knew that if there was a monarch realm monarch who could fight against Mo Tianji, it would be Night Sorrow. But the others had no power to resist. Long Jin could not outscheme Mo Tianji. He could fight, but he could not maintain it for long. Mo Tianji's realm combined with her monarch energy cultivation allowed her to display the fighting strength of a high-class emperor. Night Sorrow ran for a while before a void purple light snake appeared in the chaotic void. The void purple light snake was a void creature, so the spatial barrier was nothing to them. Whether it was the real world or the spatial turbulence, the void purple light snake would occupy it. Once the void purple light snake got close to Night Sorrow's light of virtue domain, its speed would be suppressed. Night Sorrow could use void step to dodge and continue flying. Mo Tianji was powerful, but she did not have this advantage. She could only fly with her white hair wrapped around her body. This slowed her down and consumed more energy. The distance between her and Night Sorrow grew. "Hey, arrogant woman, who do you want to bite to death? Why don't you try biting?" Seeing that they were safe, Long Jin began to verbally attack Mo Tianji. "Night Sorrow, I will catch up to you and bite you to death." Mo Tianji roared angrily. "You can't even bite the captain's private part." Without needing Night Sorrow to reply, Long Jin retorted. "I will definitely bite." Mo Tianji was so angry that she spoke without thinking. "Ah! Mo Tianji, you won't even let a man's private part go." Long Jin laughed loudly and passed through the clear sky divine pagoda. Emo Chinji's white face filled with anger turned red. She did not expect to fall into Long Jin's trap. Unable to verbally attack, Emo Chinji did not say anything and just chased. Once she caught up, all verbal attacks were useless. In the chaotic void, Night Sorrow and Emo Chinji were both extremely fast. However, Emo Chinji slowly fell behind because she had to defend against the void purple light snake while Night Sorrow did not. Also, she was using up a lot of energy. Emo Chinji stopped chasing. She knew that it was Night Sorrow's clone who was flying with the Sky Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow's main body was still in good condition. After switching, she could not catch up even if she wanted to. In addition, Emo Chinji was not afraid that Night Sorrow would get lost. With the connection between the Sky Desolate War Halberd and the Devil Ancestor's hair, she could find Night Sorrow at any time as long as she did not give Night Sorrow time. Emo Chinji stopped chasing. Night Sorrow tore through space and returned to the real world to run. However, he used his main body. His clone was using up a lot of energy. Captain, this woman is too scary. If I get caught, she will at most kill me. But she will really bite your private part. Long Jin and Night Sorrow returned to the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda and communicated with their clones. This fight shows that we can still run away from her. However, we must be careful when refining, Night Sorrow said. Then Long Jin suggested that Night Sorrow should refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd. The more time they had, the better. You would fight for that time. Long Jin meant to go to the outskirts of Broken Sky Mountain where there were no void purple light snakes. Then, his main body would appear and fly with Night Sorrow and the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda. If Emo Chinji wanted to get close, she would have to keep flying. She would not be able to recover to her peak state. But have you ever thought about how heavy the Sky Desolate War Halberd is? Even if my main body was refining it at the top of the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda, you would still have to bear the weight, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1889. If you can withstand it, then it's not a bad idea. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that it was feasible. After the doppelganger recovered, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger switched places again. The doppelganger carried the Sky Desolation Halberd and flew to the edge of Broken Sky Mountain. This was also the time for the original body to recover, because the original body's soul power was the most effective when refining treasures. After leaving the void purple light snakes area, Long Jin appeared and turned into a 3,000-meter-long golden dragon. Night Sorrow's doppelganger entered the Haotian Godly Pagoda, which was 50 times faster, to recover. His original body placed the Haotian Godly Pagoda between the two strongest front claws on Long Jin's back. He went to the top of the Haotian Godly Pagoda and began to speed up the refining process. After leaving the void turbulence and recovering, Emo Chinji realized something was wrong. The red hair on her finger was flashing chaotically and was not stable enough. This meant that Night Sorrow had not stopped. Emo Chinji flew in the direction the hair was pointing, but after flying for a long time, she still could not find any trace of Night Sorrow and Long Jin. She was puzzled because there was only one possibility in this situation. Night Sorrow had not stopped. In fact, Night Sorrow and Long Jin had not stopped. Long Jin had used up a lot of energy. Night Sorrow's doppelganger appeared and flew with the Haotian Godly Pagoda. While Night Sorrow's doppelganger was flying, Long Jin recovered in the Haotian Godly Pagoda's space, which was 50 times faster. Then the two of them switched places. Long Jin suggested to Night Sorrow that they should go and pick up his original body. This way the two of them would have less pressure and could fly continuously without any problems. But if you leave, the team will not be safe enough. If a void purple light snake appears, it will be fatal. Night Sorrow was worried about the team's safety. Tianyu's strength has increased recently. He should be safe with his people hiding in a spatial treasure. Otherwise we should bring everyone, Long Jin said. Night Sorrow shook his head and did not plan to bring his team with him because it was too dangerous. Emo Chinji was not an ordinary person. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow asked Long Jin to test Tianyu's strength, to see if Tianyu could fly while carrying the Sky Wasteland Halberd. After receiving a positive reply, Night Sorrow asked Long Jin to continue staying with the team while informing Tianyu's clone to wait at the designated area. Then he and Long Jin continued to fly. They were going to circle around Broken Sky Mountain before picking up Tianyu's clone. Night Sorrow would not let Long Jin and Tianyu's main bodies take the risk. Long Jin thought for a moment and didn't insist on sending his own body. He knew that Night Sorrow was thinking for him. Night Sorrow and Long Jin flew at a stable speed while Night Sorrow's main body controlled the fire of virtue and soul power to refine the black destructive energy in the Sky Wasteland Halberd. The city lord and King Yowu were worried about Night Sorrow and asked Lin Piaomiao about Night Sorrow's situation many times. After learning about Night Sorrow's decision and the current situation, they were both surprised and worried. They were worried about Night Sorrow's safety and surprised that Night Sorrow could keep the Sky Wasteland halberd. Everyone knew what kind of person Mo Tianji was. Even if she was an emperor, killing an emperor was as easy as flipping her hand. Now she was fooled by Night Sorrow's strategy, which showed Night Sorrow's ability. "This kid is too stubborn," the Grand Elder said. "Without a strong personality and independent thinking, how can he become the Merit Emperor? Our opinion is just whether he will take the suggestion or not," the city lord said. "Piaomiao, it seems very stable now, but there is still a big crisis, or rather an unstable factor," the city lord said. Then the city lord, who was also Tran Hung, said a possibility that shocked Lin Piaomiao. The Sky Wasteland halberd might contain the soul power of the demon ancestor. _PW, the demon ancestor was the top expert of the demon race in the last reincarnation. He was on par with the human emperor of the celestial realm. If his soul power exists, how can Night Sorrow deal with it? Lin Piaomiao was a bit anxious because this was a real crisis. It's not that scary. The demon ancestor has been in a deep sleep for 8 eras. This means that his soul was destroyed by the human emperor. Deep sleep is just a saying. His soul might have been destroyed. Whether or not the Sky Wasteland halberd has his soul power is another matter. Even if it does, it won't be very strong. If it returned to his body so early, he might have already woken up. If it didn't return, it means that even if the demon ancestor's soul power exists, it's a very weak soul fragment. Without a body, the demon ancestor's soul power is like a rootless duckweed. I'm telling you this so that you can remind Night Sorrow to be vigilant. His soul needs to be protected at all times, the city lord said. Night Sorrow was shocked when he heard this news from Lin Piaomiao. This news was too frightening. Mo Tianji used to be a soul body. How terrifying was she now? If the demon ancestor still had his soul power, it would be terrible. Then Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow some of the city lord's estimates. Only then did he feel more at ease. Mo Tianji kept flying but couldn't catch up with Night Sorrow. She understood that Night Sorrow didn't stop and kept flying. She was very annoyed. How could she attack Night Sorrow if she couldn't catch him? This situation also made Mo Tianji understand that some opportunities only came once. It was fleeting. After chasing for half a month, Mo Tianji cursed because she found that Night Sorrow and she were going in circles around Broken Mountain. But so what? The idea of waiting for him didn't work. Night Sorrow was going in circles, but it was hundreds of thousands of miles away from the original route. How could she wait for him? Mo Tianji decided to find a team first and then think of a way to intercept Night Sorrow once. It was too difficult to get rid of Night Sorrow in one go and catch Night Sorrow. The same opportunity wouldn't appear twice. After circling around Broken Mountain, Night Sorrow and Long Jin picked up Tianyu's clone. With the three brothers together, Night Sorrow was relaxed. His original body continued to refine the halberd while his clone was in peak condition, ready to deal with any possible battle. Mo Tianji brought the Demon Winged Clan's team to her side. At the same time, she estimated where Night Sorrow might appear. She knew very well that Night Sorrow wouldn't give up on Broken Mountain because the Void Purple Light Snake was a protective talisman that Night Sorrow used to stop her. On the other side of Broken Mountain, Night Sorrow asked Tianyu to stop in a safe area. After setting up an illusion array, he made a teleportation array disk. After flying for thousands of miles, Night Sorrow asked Long Jin, who had replaced Tianyu, to stop. He set up a large illusion array and asked Long Jin and Tianyu to rest. "Captain, it's safer to keep flying," Tianyu asked. "We're on our second round now. That cunning woman might not keep chasing us. She might be waiting somewhere. If we keep running, we'll be passive and let her catch up. Then we'll take the teleportation array and run. We'll play like this in the future and tire that cunning woman to death," Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1890. That's just a joke. We need to be careful. It's only been half a month. We need to recover enough energy to fight her. She's much stronger than us, so we need to cultivate. If she comes, we'll run. Also, I have a battle technique that I forgot to use before, Night Sorrow said. "What battle technique?" Tianyu asked. "It's when I place my soul power on the opponent. As long as the opponent doesn't notice it, I can always find the opponent's location," Night Sorrow said. Long Jin and Tianyu's eyes brightened. This was a good idea. As long as they knew where Mo Tianji was and whether she was close to them, they would be much safer. F start. Knight Sorrow's original body had been refining the Sky Baron battle halberd. Although the results were not ideal, he was not in a hurry. As long as he had the Sky Baron battle halberd, he could slowly refine it. In the process of refining the Sky Baron battle halberd, Knight Sorrow did not forget to cultivate. The sky above Broken Mountain was filled with flickering energy whirlpools. The power of heaven and earth was also very strong. Knight Sorrow would not give up such an opportunity. Besides, time was very important to him. If he could cultivate to 6-star Imperial Emperor, the gap between him and Imotenji would be smaller. All this time, Knight Sorrow felt that he could fight someone stronger than him. However, it was unrealistic for him to do so in front of Imotenji. Imotenji was above the tribulation of 7 emperors. Her comprehension of the power of heaven and earth completely suppressed him. The energy in her body was also much stronger than his. On the other side of Broken Mountain, Imotenji frowned. The hair on her finger was still flashing, but it was much more stable. This meant that the Sky Baron battle halberd had not moved. Knight Sorrow was still. Seeing that Knight Sorrow was not moving, Imotenji knew that waiting was not enough. She had to go and catch him. Imotenji did not know where Knight Sorrow was, but with the demon ancestor's hair guiding her, it was not difficult for her to find Knight Sorrow. Imotenji put her subordinates into her spatial treasure and then went to catch Knight Sorrow according to the hair's guidance. Within the illusory array, Tianyu and Long Jin were drinking wine. Their true bodies were with the team, cultivating within the array. Knight Sorrow's main body was cultivating and refining the Sky Wasteland halberd at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda, while his clone was cultivating his spear arts. As time passed, Imotenji got closer and closer to Knight Sorrow and the other two. Imotenji was a bit excited. Knight Sorrow not moving was her chance. If she could use this chance to get rid of Knight Sorrow, then everything would be resolved. Imotenji sensed that she was getting closer and closer to the desolate sky halberd. She was especially careful as she advanced. As she investigated, Imotenji found the location of the illusion array. She didn't expect Knight Sorrow to create an illusion array. After thinking for a while, she figured it out. Yan Wushuang was an array expert, and Knight Sorrow, who had received his inheritance, was naturally proficient in array formations as well. Hiding in the spatial treasure and using soul power to control the treasure to pass through the array was unrealistic. Any energy fluctuation within the array would be detected by Knight Sorrow. After thinking for a while, Imotenji felt that she could only break through the array with brute force. Then she would lead the team to surround Knight Sorrow. This way Knight Sorrow wouldn't have a chance to escape. Imotenji spoke to the monarch of the Demon Wing clan in the spatial treasure. Then she appeared. After she appeared, her white hair danced in the wind as she attacked the illusion array. Knight Sorrow noticed Imotenji's attack. His clone, who cultivated spear arts, was very alert. Knight Sorrow immediately put Long Jin and Tianyu into the Clear Sky Godly Scout. His main body put away the Clear Sky Godly Pagoda and placed the Sky Wasteland halberd on his shoulder. Then the original body and the doppelganger's soul power shot out toward Imotenji. After releasing the soul powers, Knight Sorrow's clone and main body merged into one. Then he took out the array disc. Imotenji smashed the illusion array and charged towards Knight Sorrow. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's soul powers were like steel needles piercing towards Imotenji's body. You won't be able to escape today. Imotenji didn't care about Knight Sorrow's soul power. This level of soul attack was trash in her eyes. It didn't affect her at all. Yishang's 2 vital strands of soul power, under the cover of a large amount of soul power, landed on the root of Imotenji's white hair near her neck, and the other pierced through the hem of her dress. You want to catch me? You need to have the ability first. I'm not playing with you anymore. Knight Sorrow activated the teleportation array disc. Then his body started to blur and he disappeared from Imotenji's sight. When Imotenji's white hair whipped over, it hit nothing but air. Seeing Knight Sorrow run away, Imotenji roared in anger. Her white hair swept across and shattered everything around her. Knight Sorrow appeared from the teleportation array millions of miles away. Then he brought Long Jin and Tianyu out as well. Captain, did you succeed? Long Jin asked. I used a soul attack to cover up those 2 pure soul powers. She shouldn't have noticed. We need to keep running. After keeping a certain distance from her, I'll set up another teleportation array and illusion array. As he spoke, Knight Sorrow tore down the teleportation array. After Knight Sorrow packed up, Tianyu carried the Clear Sky Godly Pagoda and started flying. Knight Sorrow's main body was still at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda. He was refining the Sky Desolate War halberd under the time acceleration. Tianyu and Long Jin took turns flying. It didn't affect Night Sorrow's main body's refining and cultivation. After flying for 7 days, Night Sorrow set up an illusion array in a safe place. The illusion array hid the teleportation array that he tore down a few days ago. After flying for millions of miles, Night Sorrow brought Tianyu and Long Jin to a stop. Night Sorrow's main body continued refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd while his doppelganger set up the teleportation array and illusion array. It's very exciting. We can take turns and she will be tired. Long Jin said with a smile. Imo-Chinji was furious that Night Sorrow ran away. However, she realized that Night Sorrow was very smart. He had already calculated everything. Night Sorrow was strong and good at escaping. He was also an Array Emperor teacher. It wouldn't be easy for her to capture him. However, she wouldn't give up. Imo-Chinji even felt that Night Sorrow should be captured alive. If the Devil Wing clan could obtain Night Sorrow's bloodline, then their descendants would have a very high-grade bloodline. They might even surpass the Devil Wing clan. The Devil Wing clan wanted to prosper and never decline. They had been working hard. As they worked hard to improve themselves, they also improved their own bloodlines. The dragon-headed and snake-headed people were the products of bloodline evolution. However, these two were already failed products. Chapter 1891. If it was just Night Sorrow, Imo-Chinji wouldn't be so worried. However, she knew very well that Night Sorrow had a clone outside the reincarnation battlefield that could communicate with human almighties. If there was really a way to refine the Everlasting War Halberd or cut off the connection between her and the Everlasting War Halberd, it would be difficult for her to find Night Sorrow again. After Gong Zibai's team was blocked by the Void Purple Light Snake, they couldn't move forward. After being obstructed for a very long time, Gong Zongbai thought of a way. He captured quite a number of early-stage monarch-ranked dragon-headed men and snake-headed men. He wiped out their souls and used his soul power to control them. After that, he stored his subordinates into his spatial treasure. When the Void Purple Light Snake appeared, Gong Zibai used the bodies of the dragon-headed and snake-headed and dragon-headed to block it. Then he used energy to trigger a self-explosion. This way he could kill the Void Purple Light Snake. Night Sorrow's main body worked hard every day to refine the Everlasting War Halberd. Because he kept refining the destruction energy, Night Sorrow discovered that his destruction attribute power of heaven and earth was increasing rapidly. This was naturally a good thing. However, Night Sorrow didn't stabilize for long. On the 6th day, Imo-Chinji approached the illusion array area. Because there were 2 soul powers on Imo-Chinji knew when she got close to Night Sorrow. Unexpectedly, Imo-Chinji noticed that something was wrong. When Imo-Chinji was breaking the array, Night Sorrow took the array disc and ran away. This made Imo-Chinji's thoughts and hopes go down the drain. Imo-Chinji was very annoyed. Before she could use many of her backup plans, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array disc and ran away. After using the teleportation array disc to teleport tens of thousands of miles away, Night Sorrow dismantled the teleportation array. Tianyu took the Haoying Godly Pagoda and started flying. Tianyu was very fast. It was very easy for him to pull away from Imo-Chinji. He could travel 3,000 miles in one strike and 90,000 miles in one go. Imo-Chinji will think that we noticed her because she broke the formation. She won't think that you noticed her long ago. She won't think that something is wrong with her, said Long Jin. This is indeed a lot safer. We won't be ambushed by that cunning woman. Night Sorrow nodded. What was the scariest? Unknown danger was the scariest. If he couldn't discover Imo-Chinji in advance, being ambushed by her would be a huge problem. Now, as long as Imo-Chinji got close, Night Sorrow would be able to sense it and the danger would be greatly reduced. The mayor, King Yawu, and the Grand Elder had been paying attention to Night Sorrow's situation. Night Sorrow also informed them of the situation through Lin Piaomiao. If someone else asked, Night Sorrow wouldn't bother to answer. However, the mayor had helped him twice. The first time was to solve the demon ancestor's soul problem and seal Imo-Chinji. Night Sorrow was grateful. King Yawu was his martial uncle and cared about him a lot. In addition, the Grand Elder was a senior that he respected a lot and taught him a lot. Every time they heard from Lin Piaomiao that Night Sorrow was safe, the mayor and the other two were very happy. In their hearts, the Sky Desolate Halberd was not as valuable as Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow didn't want to let go of the halberd. They couldn't force him. The mayor and the other two also knew that it was useless to give any orders to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had his own ideas. The combination of his brain power and his strength is unbreakable for Imo-Chinji. When the time is up, Night Sorrow will be safe. Then I'll go and solve the problem of the Demon Mountain. Maybe that's the key to why the black dragons and the flying snakes betrayed the celestial realm, the mayor said. King Yewu and the Grand Elder both nodded. The internal disharmony in the celestial realm was the most unstable factor in the conflict between the celestial realm and the sky desolate realm. This went on for half a year. Imo-Chenji broke through more than a dozen illusion formations of Night Sorrow. However, no matter how careful she was, Night Sorrow would always run away at the crucial moment. This made Imo-Chenji very angry. However, she didn't know how to break Night Sorrow's habit of running away when he was discovered. During this period of cultivation, Yishang's cultivation had increased once more. Staying at the top of the Haotian God Pagoda in the acceleration of time had increased Yishang's spacetime attribute by 1 point and his nothingness attribute by 2 points, reaching 53%. There were many void purple light snakes here, which meant that the void attribute was the strongest. It was the place where the will of the world was the strongest. The destruction attribute's will of the world also increased by 2 points, reaching 52%. This was the benefit of refining the sky desolate halberd. Unable to bring the halberd into the Haotian godly pagoda, Night Sorrow could only refine it at the top of the pagoda. Although the time acceleration couldn't reach 50 times, 30 times was more than enough. Half a year in the real world meant that Night Sorrow had refined the halberd for 15 years. 15 years of continuous refinement of the destructive energy inside the sky desolate halberd had helped Yishang a lot. After refining for 15 years, Night Sorrow still hadn't finished refining the halberd. However, it wasn't that he didn't gain anything. He refined part of the halberd's handle. It should be said that part of the handle was contaminated with his soul aura. Now that he was holding the halberd, it wasn't that heavy anymore. Of course, this was Night Sorrow's feeling. It was still very strenuous for Longjin and Tianyu to take it directly. When Night Sorrow held the halberd, it was 1/3 lighter than before. Night Sorrow understood that he had refined 1/3 of it. Since he couldn't put it away, Night Sorrow held it in his hand. If he encountered a void purple light snake, he would use the halberd to attack. When Night Sorrow used the halberd, he didn't have the sharpness and agility of the reincarnation spear. However, there was an additional weight. It was a weight that could crush everything. As long as the halberd hit something, even a mountain would be turned into dust. Void Purple Light Snake was no exception. 7 months have passed. We still have to endure. After using the teleportation array again to avoid Imo-Chenji, Night Sorrow and the other two flew for a day and landed on the ground to set up camp. In the past, the three of them didn't dare to set up camp. But now, they weren't afraid because Night Sorrow would know in advance if Imo-Chenji chased after them. Night Sorrow and the other two drank and chatted. They were all in a good mood. Brother Shirsan, Imo-Chenji is still thinking about your bloodline. I can't help but laugh when I think about it, Tianyu said with a smile. This treacherous woman is pissing me off. Night Sorrow cursed. Last time, when they were chasing after Night Sorrow, Imo-Chenji had shouted that as long as Night Sorrow was willing to submit, the Demon Wing clan would marry their most outstanding princess to Night Sorrow. If they had children, they would be given the title of nobles in the Demon Wing clan. After hearing this, Night Sorrow and the other two knew what Imo-Chenji was thinking as long as they weren't stupid. That's her wishful thinking. But Captain, maybe you can try to see how the Demon Wing clan's princess feels. Longjin took a bite of meat and said, I don't reject the union of the 100 races of the celestial realm with the human race. But the Demon Wing clan is a foreign race. If the 100 races of the celestial realm marry the Demon Wing clan, it would be betraying the celestial realm. Night Sorrow said. Longjin and Tianyu nodded. They knew this was their principle. If it were them, they wouldn't do it either. Another small group. The leader has a very strong evil aura. They should be the Black Dragons. Longjin confirmed. Night Sorrow's soul power scanned the area and Gong Zongbai's group appeared. Chapter 1892. Not only were the dragon-headed and snake-headed people under Gong Zibai's control dead, but his team had also lost 6 clones. It was a heavy loss, but there was nothing he could do about it. The void purple light snakes were too fast. Even Imo-Chenji couldn't stop them, let alone Gong Zibai and his team. The void purple light snakes devoured energy and flew. Any seal would be broken in an instant. Longjin checked and nodded. That's right. They are members of the Black Dragons. Half of them are from the Flying Serpent race. Brother 13, should we kill them? Tianyu asked. We know the dragon language and have a good relationship with the dragon language. There's no need to attack the Black Dragons directly. I have a grudge with Longzhe. I'll settle it with him in the future. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Long Jin and Tianyu nodded. They supported Night Sorrow's decision. Currently, the Black Dragons and Flying Serpents had been going against the 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't given the order to kill them. Night Sorrow didn't kill the Black Dragons because he was considering the big picture. Sometimes the tiger would hurt the man even if the man didn't hurt the man. Night Sorrow's team was eating meat and drinking wine when Gong Zibai and his team arrived. After arriving, they surrounded Night Sorrow's team. Gong Zibai's eyes were fixed on the Sky Desolation halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's team ignored Gong Zibai and his team and continued drinking. They wanted to see what Gong Zibai was going to do. Sky Desolation halberd. I've searched high and low for it only to find it by chance. Gong Zibai recognized the Sky Desolation halberd. It was one of his missions. Are you done? Then get lost. Long Jin looked at Gong Zibai's greedy eyes unhappily. Do you want to die? Gong Zibai unsheathed his sword and pointed it at Long Jin. Long Jin stood up. Golden scales appeared on his arms and dragon horns appeared on his head. He had transformed into a half-dragon. Are you going to attack me? If you want to attack, then get lost. There were many branches of the dragons. However, there was only one royal, and that was the Golden Dragon race. When Long Jin started to dragonize, the members of the Black Dragon clan retreated a distance. The natural king's aura had a great effect on them. I don't care who you are. The Patriarch has ordered us to bring the Sky Desolation halberd back. No one can stop us, Gong Zongbai said. Calm. Leader, they won't retreat. Long Jin said. He was. Night Sorrows. Night, calm. Us, fight. It's. Ye. Be. Let. Fight. Do you really think you're so great? You usually drag us down and show off. No one cares. But you shouldn't have stuck your foot in front of us. Tianyu held his sword in his hand. 3 pieces of trash. How dare you talk big? Who do you think you are? What is the Golden Dragon race? Gong Zibai looked at the Sky Baron war halberd with fiery eyes. We're trash. Who do you think you are? Night Sorrow snorted. You don't know what's good for you. Kill them all. Gong Zibai's eyes didn't leave the Sky Baron war halberd. He waved his hand and ordered the team behind him to attack. Tianyu roared. He unsheathed his sword and rushed toward the other members of the Black Dragon team. Long Jin began to wield the tsunami blade in his hand to kill the members of the Dragon tribe and the Flying Serpent tribe. Gong Zibai then rushed toward Night Sorrow. His target was the Sky Baron war halberd in front of Night Sorrow. Reckless. Night Sorrow grabbed the Sky Baron war halberd with his right hand and slashed at the war blade in Gong Zibai's right hand. You're the one who's courting death. Gong Zibai snorted. In terms of strength, Gong Zibai was never afraid of anyone. He was from the Black Dragon race and was born with great strength. Not to mention, his cultivation base was slightly higher than Night Sorrow's. When the two weapons collided, Gong Zibai's face changed. A powerful force came from the Sky Baron war halberd. It was so powerful that he couldn't describe it. Shatter. When the Sky Baron war halberd struck Gong Zibai's war blade, the majestic and heavy intent shattered it. Following that, the force behind the halberd sent Gong Zibai flying. Blood flowed from the corner of Gong Zibai's mouth. Night Sorrow had seriously injured him. Night Sorrow sent out a Sky Baron Nirvana palm with his left hand. He then used the Void Steps and instantly caught up with Gong Zibai, who was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm. He then swung his Sky Baron war halberd. Gong Zibai's body was enveloped by the Sky Baron Nirvana palm's spacetime control. He couldn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack. He took out his war blade and raised it to block the Sky Baron war halberd's path towards his head. Gong Zibai's war blade shattered into pieces once again. The Sky Baron war halberd also landed on Gong Zibai's face. Even though Gong Zibai raised his head to dodge, he still couldn't avoid it. This time Gong Zibai's mouth was flattened. His teeth flew out and his upper and lower jaw bones were shattered. He fainted on the spot. Since his head was attacked, his spirit sea was naturally affected as well. Originally, Gong Zibai wasn't such a trash. However, he thought that his cultivation base was high. Therefore, he didn't put Night Sorrow in his eyes. After the first exchange, he suffered a great loss and was seriously injured. After Night Sorrow released his domain, he waved the Sky Baron war halberd and joined the chaotic battle. After releasing his domain, Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. The Sky Baron war halberd continued to attack. As long as one was hit by the Sky Baron war halberd, they wouldn't have a good ending. The black dragons and flying serpents who were hit felt as if they were smashed by a mountain. They couldn't resist at all. Long Jin also started to kill. He wanted to clean up the clan. The black dragons dared to attack him because they didn't put the Golden Dragon clan in their eyes. They were offending their superiors. The battle went on for the time it took to brew a cup of tea. These monarchs were completely defeated by Night Sorrow and the other two. Long Jin released his bloodline suppression. The black dragons and flying serpents were all suppressed. The suppression came from their souls, causing their strength to be greatly reduced. Although Night Sorrow and the other two's cultivation base were low, they were very good at strength and speed. Therefore the people that Gong Zibai brought were completely defeated. Because Long Jin killed, except for some who ran away without fighting, the rest were all killed. Night Sorrow sat down with the Sky Baron war halberd and continued to drink tea. Long Jin woke Gong Zibai up. He wanted to teach Gong Zibai a lesson. After waking up, Gong Zibai looked at Night Sorrow, Long Jin and Jianghu. His eyes were filled with fear because the surroundings were filled with corpses. The black dragons are lawless now. They even dare to offend their superiors? Long Jin slapped Gong Zibai's face with a backhand. Gong Zibai knelt on the ground. Although he couldn't speak, his soul power could vibrate to convey his thoughts. He was begging for mercy and wanted to live. Chapter 1893. Gong Zibai kept kowtowing to the ground, begging for his life. Cheap mouth and soft bones. You are a disgrace, do you know that? Long Jin kicked Gong Zibai's face again. A spineless bastard, Jianghu scolded. He despised people like Gong Zibai the most. I'm a bastard. I'm a piece of trash. Please be merciful. Gong Zibai's soul kept fluctuating. A disgrace. The more Long Jin heard, the angrier he got. He slapped Gong Zibai's head. He couldn't let such a piece of trash live. After collecting the spoils, Jianghu spread his wings and flew with Night Sorrow and Long Jin on his back. Mo Qianji, who had sensed that the halberd wasn't moving, cursed. It wasn't moving, but now it was moving. Was he playing with her? As Jianghu flew, Night Sorrow sat at the top of the Haoyin Godly Pagoda and continued to cultivate in the time acceleration. At the same time he was refining the halberd. Captain, the halberd is very powerful. Long Jin said to Night Sorrow's doppelganger. He had seen the halberd's destructive power. It destroyed everything it attacked. It was very powerful. It's too heavy. Even if it's 1/3 lighter, I can't use it like an extension of my arm. I can't use some battle skills and techniques. It's too clumsy, Night Sorrow said. When it's completely refined, there won't be such a drawback. Then Brother 13 will have another divine weapon, Jianghu said while flying. I'm afraid that won't work. The elders of the 100 races value this item very much. They might ask me for it, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. You have to give it to them just because they want it? That doesn't make sense. Besides, you were the one who abandoned the city lord King Yawu and the great elder. It's your ability to keep them. You've already done them a favor by finding the remains of the human sovereign. Long Jin didn't want to see Yishang hand over the halberd that he had worked so hard to obtain. Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't willing to hand it over either. If he could successfully bring it back, he would see how things developed. If the city lord of Heavenly Desolate City, King Yawu, and the great elder asked for it, then he would hand it over. The three of them were giants of the 100 Races Alliance. They were wholeheartedly thinking for the Heaven Realm and had no selfish motives. If others wanted it, then sorry Yishang would not spoil them. Jianghu and Long Jin flew in turns while Mo Qianji chased after them. The distance between them did not decrease. Instead it increased. Mo Qianji needed to recover. Knowing that this couldn't go on, Mo Qianji thought for a moment and took out a Peak Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor from her spatial treasure. Under her guidance, the Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor flew with the spatial treasure while she recovered. After flying for 2 days, Night Sorrow set up the same trap as before. Then he set up camp and rested while his main body continued to refine. In just 1 day, Night Sorrow sensed that Mo Qianji was approaching. He hurriedly told Long Jin and Jianghu about the situation. This cunning woman should be the same as us. She let the Demon Wing Race Imperial Emperor fly with her. This way we can't stay steady even if we want to, said the Golden Dragon. No one was a fool. They immediately guessed. Then we can only keep running and switching between running and stopping. She won't be able to figure out our pattern, said Jianghu. Then I'll have to trouble you too. My refining speed is faster, but according to my estimation, the remaining 2/3 will take half a year, said Night Sorrow. That's nothing. While our main body is cultivating, our doppelgangers will accompany the captain to walk this cunning woman. It's more meaningful, said Long Jin with a smile. Night Sorrow did not turn back to dismantle the teleportation circle, as it might come in handy after making a round. Then Long Jin carried Night Sorrow and Jianghu and began flying. Night Sorrow, once I catch you, I will drink your blood. Jianghu was on the verge of breaking down. She felt as if she was very close to the Sky Wasteland halberd, but she noticed that the Sky Wasteland halberd was moving. GTQ** positive. Version X #_ how many years had it been since Jianghu felt like she was about to collapse? What kind of big shot had she not seen before? However, she had never met someone like Night Sorrow who was so good at jumping around. She just couldn't hold him down. Just as she was about to hold him down, he jumped again. Jianghu stopped chasing after the battle between Night Sorrow and Gong Zibai. She felt that there was something wrong with her train of thought. If she followed Night Sorrow's train of thought, she would never be able to catch him. Looking at the corpses of the black dragons and flying serpents, Jianghu thought of a crucial problem. If she caught up and blocked Night Sorrow, how confident would she be in taking him down? After pondering for a moment, Jianghu made a decision. She would cultivate first and increase her cultivation to the Emperor realm. Only then would she be confident in dealing with Night Sorrow. After flying to the other side of the Broken Sky Mountain, Night Sorrow stopped with Long Jin and Jianghu. If she doesn't catch up, we will wait. If she doesn't chase, we will just be running around. Wouldn't that be tiring for us? Then let's set up camp. Captain, be careful and don't get tricked by her. Long Jin said. Long Jin and Jianghu were also wary of Jianghu. Not only was this woman powerful, she was also ruthless and determined. Without noticing that Jianghu was chasing after him, Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully. The more time passed, the more advantageous it would be for him. No matter if he refined the Sky Desolation Battle halberd first or if it was 2 years later, Jianghu would fail either way. After 3 months, Night Sorrow had refined 2/3 of the Sky Desolation Battle halberd. Jianghu is really not coming? Has she given up? Jianghu said while drinking the tea that Night Sorrow brewed. She will never give up because the human sovereign's remains and the Sky Desolation Battle halberd are related to the fate of the Celestial Realm and the Sky Desolation Battle halberd. In addition, she still wants to deal with me and take back her original body. If she doesn't come now, it won't be a good thing because she might have gone to increase her cultivation. She already has a cultivation realm and what she lacks is energy. When she appears again, it will be a crisis for us. Night Sorrow said. Captain, what you said is too scary. After hearing Night Sorrow's explanation, Long Jin's expression changed. They knew how strong Jianghu was now. If she increased her cultivation realm and entered the Emperor realm, the situation would be unimaginable. I'm also thinking about this problem. It's useless to run now. She can sense the Sky Desolation Battle halberd and can lock onto us at any time. Now we can only hope that the void purple light snakes can stop her. Perhaps when she increases her cultivation realm, my spacetime attribute can also increase and reach the peak of the Emperor realm. Then the gap between us will be smaller. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow chose this place to cultivate for a reason. First, the spacetime intent here was very strong. Second, there were many void purple light snakes not too far away. 3 months. In 3 more months, 13th brother will be able to refine the Sky Desolation Battle halberd. Let's see if we can survive these 3 months. Jianghu said. He knew that this was a great crisis. Time slipped away bit by bit. After 3.5 months, Jianghu came out of seclusion. She was a 7-star emperor, which was also the Emperor realm. Chapter 1894. While Jianghu was chasing, Night Sorrow's avatar, who was cultivating his spear art, suddenly stopped. His aura and his original body, who was meditating, both rose and underwent some changes. 6-star Emperor, Peak Monarch. Cultivating in the area with the densest spacetime aura, Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute had a breakthrough. He entered the 6-star Emperor realm and his cultivation increased by 1 level. Captain, you have advanced. Long Jin said in surprise. Night Sorrow's cultivation speed was indeed fast. Yes, my spacetime attribute has advanced. My speed has increased and my ability to protect myself has increased. Night Sorrow was also very happy. Night Sorrow had advanced. The 3 brothers naturally drank to celebrate. In the middle of the night, while Long Jin and Jianghu were surprised, Night Sorrow looked behind him and said, "That woman is here." After 3.5 months of peace, this woman still came. Drinking and celebrating won't even let me rest. This is so boring. Tianyu was very unhappy. My cultivation increased at the right time. I originally thought that I could fight her after advancing. However, since she has chased after me, her cultivation must be at the Emperor realm. The difference between us is even greater than before. Night Sorrow said in a low voice. Monarch and Emperor realm was a watershed. Not only in terms of cultivation but the energy contained in the body was also completely different. Night Sorrow and Emo Tianji's cultivation both increased by one level. Emo Tianji's cultivation was still the same, but the energy contained in her body was different. Therefore, Night Sorrow said that the difference was greater than before. 13th brother, let's run then. Tianyu stood up. Night Sorrow nodded. The battle could start at any time. However, in the next 2.5 months, they should focus on refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd. They could not lose the big picture for small gains. Tianyu flew up. Tianyu's divine pagoda stood on his back. Night Sorrow's original body continued refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd at the top of the pagoda. The clone and Long Jin sat upright, thinking about the dangers they might encounter. If he hadn't leveled up, Night Sorrow wouldn't have let Tianyu run away, because it would be very dangerous for him to be caught. If he relied on the purple light snakes near the stronghold just now, there would still be a chance, but it was different now. Night Sorrow admitted that his battle prowess was inferior to Emo Tianji's, but in terms of speed, he was confident. His advancement was in the space-time attribute, and his comprehension of time and space had increased. It was a great help to his speed. Night Sorrow felt that even the Emperor rank Emo Tianji couldn't beat him in speed. At most they would be on par. There wasn't much difference in speed. What mattered was the energy consumption. Emo Tianji only had one body. Even though it had a lot of energy, it was only about the same as his original body and his doppelganger combined. Under such circumstances, it was important to have good companions. Tianyu and Long Jin were divine beasts that specialized in speed and strength. The Imperial Emperors under Emo Tianji could not compare to them. While Night Sorrow was analyzing and thinking about the advantages and disadvantages, Emo Tianji felt the Sky Desolate Battle Halberd move. This time, Emo Tianji didn't curse because she wasn't afraid that Night Sorrow would run away. Emo Tianji took out a peak Imperial Emperor from her spatial artifact and let him carry it. Under her guidance, she started to recover. A #forever free. Look at what little G said. Emo Tianji wasn't in a hurry. As long as her Imperial Emperors didn't pull away, it would be fine. When the energy in her body recovered, Emo Tianji continued to fly. Her speed was twice as fast as her subordinates. Her plan was to let the Imperial Emperors fly at full speed to maintain the situation while she chased after them. Emo Tianji's plan was right, but reality wasn't like that. Tianyu and Long Jin weren't peak Imperial Emperors, but they specialized in speed. Emo Tianji wasn't flying by herself, so she would be left behind. If she flew at full speed, she wouldn't be able to catch up much. Night Sorrow's doppelganger sensed Emo Tianji's situation while his original body was still cultivating. 7 days passed in the chase. How did she know I was close? Is this a premonition of danger? Emo Tianji muttered to herself when she returned to the spatial artifact to recover. She didn't understand Night Sorrow's actions. A while ago he stopped for 3.5 months. What about now? He didn't stop for 7 days. It was as if he had predicted her actions. Does he have something from my original body? No, if he has something from my original body he can sense me. Then I can sense it too. But I don't have it now. Emo Tianji thought as she recovered. She denied all the possibilities. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Night Sorrow had refined the Sky Baron War Halberd for 10 months. They had been in the reincarnation space for almost a year. Brother 13, is the refinement going smoothly? Tianyu asked. It's fine. I've started refining the blade of the Sky Baron War Halberd. 2 months should be enough. But it's been hard on you and Long Jin. She keeps chasing us so we can't stop. We can't use the same method as half a year ago. Night Sorrow looked at Long Jin and Tianyu and said, it's nothing. We're just playing with her for 2 more months. Captain, once you refine the Sky Baron War Halberd, she won't be able to sense it. She won't be able to chase us. We'll find a place to stay for a few months. Then we can safely return to the Celestial Realm. Long Jin said indifferently. In the long life of a cultivator, 2 months was nothing. The distance between them kept shrinking. After all, Emo Tianji was an emperor. When she flew, she could shorten the distance by quite a bit. Tian Emo Tianji caught up. When she saw Night Sorrow's situation, she immediately understood why it was so hard to chase him. It was because the two divine beasts were taking turns. Their speed was naturally incomparably fast. Imo-Chenji caught up. Night Sorrow didn't notice it at first because the difference between his soul power and Imo-Chenji's was not small. However, as the distance kept shrinking, Night Sorrow noticed Imo-Chenji. He also knew the reason why Imo-Chenji could catch up. She was fast and her subordinates were flying hard to maintain the advantage. When Tianyu needed to be replaced, Night Sorrow put Tianyu and Long Jin into the Clear Sky Pagoda. His doppelganger dragged the Clear Sky Pagoda and then used the Void Step to fly. He wanted to see the difference in speed between him and Imo-Chenji. The advancement of the spacetime attribute greatly increased the power of Night Sorrow's Void Step. It was as if he was walking casually. However, every step he took covered a large distance. He wasn't any slower than Imo-Chenji with her white hair fluttering in the wind. Damn it. After being surprised by Night Sorrow's speed, Imo-Chenji noticed that Night Sorrow's cultivation had increased. She increased her cultivation by 1 level and so did Night Sorrow. The distance between them didn't shrink at all. When Night Sorrow felt that his doppelganger couldn't hold on any longer and needed to recover, it had already been 2 days. He was forcefully holding on. When his body couldn't hold on any longer, Night Sorrow let Tianyu, who was best at speed, carry the Clear Sky Pagoda and his main body. Chapter 1895. Night Sorrow was recovering under the Haotian Pagoda's 50-fold time acceleration. Night Sorrow could recover to his peak state in 4 hours. 4 hours in the Haotian Godly Pagoda was only half a cup of tea's time in the real world. Imo-Chenji noticed the appearance of Night Sorrow at his peak state, but she was still a bit away from full recovery. Anger, Imo-Chenji was furious. She had seen Night Sorrow's speed and his recovery speed. She understood that it would be very difficult to catch up to Night Sorrow. Moreover, almost a year had passed. Another year would be a foregone conclusion. Night Sorrow, let's talk. Imo-Chenji shouted after appearing. Her voice traveled through space for tens of thousands of miles. Night Sorrow naturally heard it. From the big picture, the Celestial Realm and Tianhuang are enemies. From a personal point of view, my master died because of you, so there is no room for discussion between us. Night Sorrow's voice also traveled behind him. Can't you be more reasonable? Your master Yen Wushuang touched the God Annihilation Tribulation herself. After her body was destroyed, she came to Tianhuang to cause trouble. She killed countless experts and trapped me for countless years. Who is whose enemy? Imo-Chenji was very angry after hearing Night Sorrow's words because she was the victim. Not only had she been trapped by Yen Wushuang for countless years, her true body had also been taken away by Yi Chang. As for whether she had been touched or not, she wasn't sure. Although she wasn't a man, she knew how tempting her body was to men. What you said makes sense, but I saw it with my own eyes. Because of you, Master Wushuang's soul was completely destroyed. Therefore I can't let this go. Night Sorrow was taken aback after hearing Imo-Chenji's words. According to her, she was indeed the victim. Tell me, what do you want for me to return my true body? Imo-Chenji asked. Imo-Chenji, I'm the virtuous emperor of the human race. Of course I'm thinking for the celestial realm. If I let you recover, I'll be helping the evildoers. Let me tell you the truth. Don't talk to me. I don't intend to lie to you, Night Sorrow said. Imo-Chenji didn't say anything. Although she was angry, she couldn't scold Night Sorrow even if she wanted to. The chase was still going on, and Night Sorrow's original body continued to refine the infinite wasteland war halberd. In other words, if this stalemate continued, Night Sorrow would have the upper hand. The feeling of helplessness was very strong. Imo-Chenji didn't expect to be unable to change the situation even after reaching the Emperor rank. She felt that luck wasn't on her side. Night Sorrow's advancement came at the wrong time. Imo-Chenji, whether you chase or not, the result will be the same. I won't hide it from you. The Emperor's remains and the infinite wasteland war halberd are both in my hands. The future of the infinite wasteland will definitely not be as good as the human race. Just go back where you came from. After Night Sorrow recovered, he stood behind Tianyu and yelled at Imo-Chenji, who was chasing after him. Survival of the fittest. This is a principle that hasn't changed since ancient times. The devil-winged race has to fight for a reason. From today onwards, I, Imo-Chenji, will treat you, Night Sorrow, as a true opponent. Imo-Chenji calmed down. Good. Respecting the opponent is the attitude a cultivator should have. Night Sorrow's heart shook. An angry Imo-Chenji might be scary, but when she calmed down, she was truly scary. If the early stage Emperor rank isn't enough, then I'll reach the middle stage Emperor rank before catching you. You can still be carefree for half a year. After chasing around Broken Sky Mountain for half a month, Mo Tianji stopped because it was useless. Night Sorrow's speed was the same as hers. In terms of support strength, Tianyu and Long Jin were faster than her emperors. Mo Tianji made this decision after careful consideration. If there was a problem, she had to think of a way to solve it. Stubbornly resisting wasn't the way to solve the problem. Mo Tianji estimated that if she desperately raised her cultivation by 1 rank, she would need half a year. This meant that she still had close to half a year to deal with Night Sorrow. When Mo Tianji stopped chasing, Night Sorrow let out a breath of relief and continued to fly. After flying half a circle, he found a place with dense void energy. Night Sorrow stopped and set up an illusion array at the new stronghold before setting up a teleportation array for retreat. 13th brother, she gave us half a year. Isn't she worried you'll refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd? Tianyu finished setting up the tent and said, "The Sky Desolate War Halberd has been in my hands for 10 months. She thinks I won't be able to refine it. Then again, if she doesn't raise her cultivation, what can she do even if she's worried?" Night Sorrow glanced at the main body that was still trying to refine the Sky Desolate War Halberd. This was the truth. If Mo Tianji didn't raise her cultivation, what was the point of worrying? With his doppelganger on guard, Night Sorrow's main body was refining the Sky Desolate War Halberd at full speed. At the same time, he was researching how to raise the void and destruction attributes. Mo Tianji really needed to cultivate. She wanted to use her middle stage Emperor rank cultivation to deal with Night Sorrow. In the second month of peace, Night Sorrow's virtuous flames and soul power had been refined to the core region of the Sky Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow was very excited. The Sky Desolate War Halberd was very close to being completely refined. As long as the final region of the Sky Desolate War Halberd was refined, the xenogenic aura within the Sky Desolate War Halberd would be gone. What was left was his soul aura. Just as Yi Shang's heart was filled with joy, an incomparably tyrannical aura that could crush everything appeared. It was a black energy. It should be a soul force of the destruction attribute. Yi Shang even felt that the attribute of this soul force had already surpassed the tyrannical nature of the destruction attribute. This black soul power left the Sky Desolate War Halberd and charged towards Night Sorrow's Divine Sea. Origin Pearl Protect Body. Night Sorrow roared. A purple halo appeared above his head. This was the energy of the 9-region Origin Pearl. At the same time, Night Sorrow activated the light of virtue in his Divine Sea and mixed it with his soul power. He cast Soul Rhythm, which was the soul defense absolute art he learned in the Sky Desolate Tower. This black soul power charged towards Night Sorrow's Divine Sea twice. However, it was repelled by Night Sorrow's light of virtue and soul power. Virtuous Flames. Chapter T section? Night Sorrow released his virtuous territory and then activated the Human Emperor's seal. He unleashed the virtuous fire. The area within a radius of several feet around him was instantly filled with golden flames. After the golden flames appeared, they wrapped around this soul power and began to burn it. This soul power was even more tyrannical than the void purple light snake. Night Sorrow's domain suppression effect was not very strong. It circled around Night Sorrow's Divine Sea and attacked him. Night Sorrow used all of his power to activate the 9-region Origin Pearl's defense. His soul power and light of virtue combined to cast a soul defense absolute art. He blocked the invasion of this soul power. At the same time, the Human Emperor's seal's virtuous flames burned this soul power. Chapter 1896. Night Sorrow's doppelganger put Long Jin and Tianyu into the Hao Tian Tower. He could hold on, but if the soul power attacked Long Jin and Tianyu, it would be a big problem. After putting away Tianyu and Long Jin, Night Sorrow's doppelganger merged with his real body. The Green Lotus Jade Ring went to his Spirit Sea, giving him another layer of soul defense. The battle was still in a stalemate. Night Sorrow was defending very well, but the soul power looked tired. Without a body to support it, the soul power was like a rootless duckweed. Feeling the exhaustion of the soul power, Night Sorrow increased the power of the Human King's seal to keep the fire of virtue burning. After the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the black soul power could not hold on any longer. Like the purple snake, it teleported away. Night Sorrow's forehead was covered in sweat. He knew it was because he had a soul defense treasure and a light of virtue. Otherwise, his Spirit Sea would have been broken. What happened to Brother 13? Tianyu, who had been teleported out of the Hao Tian Tower by Night Sorrow, asked. I almost died. Sky Baron Halberd has a soul fragment. It must belong to the Demon Alpha. Night Sorrow waved the Sky Baron Halberd, and it felt completely different. The fire of soul had completely refined it, and there was no longer any xenogenic presence inside. Emo Qianji, who was meditating in a quiet place, stood up. She looked very surprised because the hair around her finger was flickering. It became very unstable and then the light dimmed. Emo Qianji looked at the hair around her finger, and then she used the weak light to fly. If she could not guess that something was wrong with the Sky Baron halberd, she would be an idiot. After flying for a day, a black soul power appeared. Before Emo Qianji could react, it went into the 2 strands of hair around her finger. After that, the 2 strands of hair around Emo Qianji's finger disappeared. Everything returned to silence. There was no more movement. Cr. Emo Qianji's expression became ugly because she couldn't sense the halberd. This meant that Night Sorrow had refined the halberd. The demon ancestor's soul fragment was able to force out the Sky Desolation War halberd. This explained the problem. He had lost. Emo Qianji understood that she had lost this trip to the reincarnation battlefield. She had lost thoroughly. She was able to determine where the Sky Wasteland halberd was, but she failed to snatch it back. Now that she was unable to determine its location, how could she snatch it back? There was no chance at all. Letting out a breath, Emo Qianji made a decision. She would not tangle with Night Sorrow for the time being. She should focus on her cultivation. She only had one body, and Night Sorrow's clone and true body were both here. She had no advantage in a fight. Night Sorrow was in a very good mood. The Sky Wasteland halberd no longer had the xenogenic aura, so he could wield it freely. He could also store it in the Hao Tian Godly Pagoda. Brother 13, have you finished refining it? Tianyu asked happily. Refining complete. Night Sorrow nodded. Long Jin patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. He was happy for Night Sorrow too. Then we can meet up with the others. The mission was completed perfectly. When the time is up we can return, Tianyu said. My clone will go with you. I still have work to do, Night Sorrow said. He still had some ideas. Night Sorrow planned to go to the place with the most void purple light snakes. He wanted to capture more of them as they were pure void energy. The other area had a strong void will. If he practiced there, his void will would increase with half the effort. There were still 10 months left and he could raise his cultivation. That's fine. Captain refined the Sky Wasteland halberd. Emo Qianji will not be able to find Captain, so we should be safe. Long Jin was relieved. Then Night Sorrow's original body left with the Haotian Godly Pagoda. His clone, Tianyu and Long Jin headed to the hidden stronghold. After Night Sorrow's clone met up with the soldiers of the First Army, everyone was very happy. They had not seen Night Sorrow for a while. Everyone was worried about Night Sorrow. Thank you everyone. I've made you worry. The environment here is good. It's suitable for comprehending the heaven and earth will. You can cultivate however you want, Night Sorrow said. Then he went to set up 2 teleportation formations. After knowing Emo Qianji's strength, Night Sorrow had to be careful. If Emo Qianji, who had cultivated to the 8-star Emperor realm, happened to run into them, it would be dangerous. They had to have a perfect plan to retreat. After setting up 2 hidden aces that could retreat at any time, Night Sorrow returned to the stronghold and perfected a few of his ultimate techniques. Night Sorrow's original body carried 2 weapons. One was the Sky Wasteland halberd, and the other was the Reincarnation Spear. Night Sorrow really liked the Sky Wasteland halberd. Domineering. When he wielded it, the feeling of destroying something was very comfortable. When he reached the place where the void purple light snakes gathered, Night Sorrow began to fight. The void purple light snakes contained very dense void energy. To Night Sorrow it was a great supplement. It was very helpful to increase his void energy. After using his virtue domain to suppress the void purple light snake's speed, Yishang took out his reincarnation spear. Stabbing, slashing, and slashing, every move he made was able to kill the void purple light snake. After killing it, Yishang's soul power revolved and absorbed the energy into the human emperor's seal. In half a day, Night Sorrow killed his way into the depths of the mountain. The number of void purple light snakes didn't decrease. Instead, there were more of them. One day later, Night Sorrow killed his way into a special area of the broken mountain. Cracks and destructive whirlpools constantly appeared in the sky. The cracks were filled with black destructive energy and purple void energy. The manifestation of the will of heaven and earth was also very intense. At this moment, Night Sorrow understood why there were so many void purple light snakes in this area. It was because the void energy here was very dense. As for why there weren't any destruction attributed demonic beasts, it was very simple. This area was already occupied by the void purple light snakes. Even if there were destruction-attributed demonic beasts, they wouldn't be able to gain a foothold here. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate, but with countless void purple light snakes around, he couldn't calm down. He couldn't kill them all. This gave Yishang a bit of a headache. He would never give up on this treasured land. After looking around, Night Sorrow found a problem. There were no void purple light snakes in the area where the destructive energy was erupting. The void purple light snakes were usually in places where the void energy was denser. Night Sorrow arrived at the boundary between the destructive space crack and the void space crack. He took out the Haotian godly pagoda and enlarged it to a height of 300 meters. His body then flashed and landed on the top of the pagoda. After observing for a while and confirming that the void purple light snakes wouldn't disturb him, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Everything quieted down. Mo Qianji gave up on looking for Night Sorrow and continued to improve her cultivation. The Black Dragons and the few remaining members of the Flying Serpent clan ran to a secluded place and hid. Gong Zibai and most of the members were killed. They couldn't do anything. Night Sorrow's doppelganger cultivated the lost art while protecting the members of the First Army. Chapter 1897. The city lord, King Yowu, and the Grand Elder were elated when they heard that Night Sorrow had completely refined the Sky Baron halberd. Although they had only heard Lin Piaomiao's report, they knew what kind of danger Yishan was facing. That was the danger of Mo Qianji being able to lock onto a target and chase after them. The problem of the Sky Baron halberd has been solved. Hide well and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear, the city lord said. When the reincarnation battlefield appears, please inform me first. Tell him not to let the experts of the Demon Wings clan enter first and bring danger to him, Lin Piaomiao said. Okay, I'll go in first. He has completed his task in the reincarnation battlefield and waited for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. He has done what he should do. If we still let him take the risk, it will be our incompetence, the city lord said. He had made up his mind to go to the reincarnation battlefield as soon as possible. By the way, the Sky Baron halberd has been completely refined by Night Sorrow. What do you plan to do? If the city lord wants the Sky Baron halberd, he won't recognize you as its master. Otherwise he will recognize you as its master. This way he will have more strength, Lin Piaomiao said. This was not Night Sorrow's idea. She was asking for her husband. The three of us asked him to abandon it. This is his choice. His safety and the remains of the human sovereign are more important than anything else. He persevered for a year while being chased and got the Sky Baron halberd. This is the result of his hard work. No one can take it away from him. It's a good thing that the Sky Baron halberd is not in the hands of the Demon Wings clan. We are willing to see it in his hands, the city lord said. Then I'll let him know. This time around he was truly in a life and death struggle. Thankfully, his cultivation base had advanced in time and he had completed the refinement in time. Otherwise, his life would have been in danger. Lin Piaomiao felt a lingering fear as she thought about it. The three had been learning about Yishang's situation through Lin Piaomiao. They knew that Mo Qianji had increased her cultivation, and after failing to kill Yishang, she had to increase her cultivation again before killing Yishang. Therefore they knew that Yishang was in danger. Both intelligent and courageous, daring to fight and fight. Only with such perseverance and tenacity can the impossible become possible. If it were someone else, the infinite desolate war halberd would have already changed hands. The Grand Elder sighed. Then, King Yowu asked about the Humanitarian League and Lin Piaomiao gave him a brief introduction. Currently, the Humanitarian League was under the command of Pu Luo and Fen Tian. Ruiz and Yuzhu returned to their lair to increase their strength. The Great Demon King returned to his own domain. His true body needed to cultivate while his avatar reorganized the domain. The Grand Elder and the other two nodded. They valued the Humanitarian League very much and did not want the Humanitarian League to go astray. Then the Grand Elder asked about Lin Piaomiao's situation. Lin Piaomiao's true body had been cultivating with the help of a spatial treasure. She had even passed the 7 calamities of the heavenly law. The 9 calamities of the heavenly law is a hurdle, but it's not a big problem for you. You have to do it steadily. King Yowu said. Thank you for your concern. I'll be careful. Lin Piaomiao nodded. In the evil Punisher land, Datura floated out of the Yellow Spring River. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao's true body came out of the glazed pagoda. Seeing Datura, Lin Piaomiao was shocked. Her cultivation had increased too quickly. She had surpassed the 2-star Emperor realm and went from the 1-star Emperor realm to the 3-star Emperor realm. How's Night Sorrow's situation now? Datura asked. Very good. He'll be back in less than a year. You're a little too domineering. You went into seclusion to gain enlightenment and you increased your cultivation by 2 levels. Lin Piaomiao pulled Datura into the glazed pagoda and brewed a pot of tea. The Yellow Spring River is very suitable for my cultivation. Sister Xian, you have to keep this place open to me? I don't even need to deduce anything inside. I just need to absorb and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Just now, a huge skeleton of a demonic beast appeared in the Yellow Spring River and woke me up. I'll continue cultivating later. Datura said. Your talent is really enviable. Don't worry. If you like it, I can even give you the evil Punisher land. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Thank you, Sister Xian. Datura raised his teacup at Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She was very happy to be able to get along with Night Sorrow's wives like sisters. After chatting with Lin Piaomiao for a while, Datura entered the Yellow Spring River again. She had an extreme desire for strength. She wanted to fight side by side with Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao also started cultivating. She hoped that when Night Sorrow needed help, she could help Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao's clone returned to the ethereal imperial city from the Heaven Desolate City and met Wufeng. Wufeng was planning to go to the 9 Domains world to meet Night Sorrow. A few days ago he went to meet the God-slaying team led by Sandalwood. The members of the God-slaying team cultivated very quickly. There was no problem for them to increase their cultivation level. However, they didn't have enough resources. This is a good thing. I'm just afraid that they won't be able to use up the resources. Here are 10 million Saint Spirit stones. Give it to them. Also go and find Elder Lan. Give them some elixirs. Lin Piaomiao said to Wufeng. As Night Sorrow's wife, Lin Piaomiao naturally knew how much Night Sorrow cared about their relationship and how much he wanted his brothers to rise. She didn't need to tell Night Sorrow anything that she could solve. Wufeng went to work while Lin Piaomiao went to the 9 Domains world. In the city in the sky of the 9 Domains world, Night Sorrow was guiding the children in their cultivation. Seeing Lin Piaomiao's arrival, the children all left, leaving Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao alone to talk. After chatting with Night Sorrow about the situation outside, Lin Piaomiao told him about the arrangement of the Heaven Desolate City's City Lord and the other 2 for the Heaven Desolate War Halberd. That's great. I really like that weapon. It has a completely different feeling from the Reincarnation Spear. Night Sorrow said. When you come back, study it and see if you can fuse the 2 weapons. Lin Piaomiao suggested. I won't fuse them for now. The Reincarnation Spear has its own advantages while the Heaven Desolate War Halberd has its own dominance. When my cultivation level increases, I might be able to create a unique skill that belongs to the Heaven Desolate War Halberd. Night Sorrow said. As time passed, Night Sorrow's cultivation level continued to increase. This time, it was the destruction and nothingness attributes that increased. It could even be said that Night Sorrow's doppelganger couldn't sense his original body anymore. This was the phenomenon after entering a state of enlightenment. To cultivators, such a state was a dream to increase their cultivation level. Chapter 1898. To be honest, we didn't do anything when we came in. Zhuodong came to Night Sorrow and poured a glass of water for himself as he spoke. That's all I can do. The soldiers of the First Army would find a safe place to cultivate their realms while their clones would gather together to cultivate their battle techniques. I can only say that this operation isn't suitable for a team battle. The Void Purple Light Snake is a problem that the team can't deal with. Besides, when Mo Chenji appears again, she might be a middle-class emperor. She chased me for over a year as a low-class emperor. How are we going to fight her when she's a middle-class emperor? Can we fight above our ranks? She's the one who can fight above her level. Her realm is high and we can't compare to her. We're no match for her even if we're at the same level. If she fights with a higher cultivation we have no hope at all, said Yishan. I know. I'm not complaining. I just feel embarrassed. Those who could have been defeated were killed by you and the rest are not. Zhuodong smiled bitterly. The Black Dragon clan's team ran into Long Jin. They were unlucky. After being suppressed by Long Jin's bloodline, they didn't have much strength. It was a one-sided massacre, Yishang explained. Young Master Bai's team was indeed unlucky. If they had encountered the sergeants of the First Army, they would have had a 50% chance of winning. However, they were unlucky to have encountered Long Jin. The Black Dragon race's bloodline was suppressed, and so was the Flying Serpent race's bloodline. Their strength was greatly reduced, and Night Sorrow, Long Jin and Tianyu were ruthless characters, so they were naturally killed. Captain, can't you slow down your cultivation? You're a 6-star emperor now. If you go up another rank, the first army will have no captain. Don't become the captain with the shortest time. Chongjio said. I'm afraid I can't cultivate slower. However, we can talk to the Grand Elder. It's fine for an emperor to be the captain of the first army, right? Rules are dead but people are alive. Knight Sorrow said. Chongjio nodded. The captain of the first army had been walking back and forth, causing the first army to be unstable. In the 20th month of the reincarnation battlefield's opening, Mo Qinji entered the 8-star emperor rank under the acceleration of the time treasure, which was the middle-class emperor rank. It felt good to recover some of her power, but Mo Qinji was not happy. She had come too late and she could not find Knight Sorrow. The reincarnation battlefield was so big. Even if they kept moving, the chances of meeting each other were very low. If Knight Sorrow wanted to hide, she would not be able to find him. Mo Qinji let out a sigh of relief. She didn't plan to look for it anymore. If it was her, she would definitely hide and wait for the reincarnation battlefield to appear. Mo Qinji also had some things to do. She needed to go to Demon Mountain. The dragon-headed people and snake-headed people there had the bloodline of the demon-winged race. After countless years of reproduction, they were already very powerful. The demon-winged race needed them. When they first entered the reincarnation battlefield, Missouri Qinji was in a hurry to find the Sky Desolation halberd, so she didn't go to Demon Mountain. In addition, her cultivation was not enough at that time. She was worried that the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors would not be convinced. A 6-star emperor rank cultivation was not enough. If the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people's progenitors rebelled, she would be courting death. However, it was different now. She had cultivated to the 8-star emperor rank and possessed the pure noble soul of the demon-winged race. She had a natural suppression against the dragon-headed people and snake-headed people. Therefore she was confident. Knight Sorrow didn't know about this. His original body was still in a state of enlightenment. He was constantly absorbing the void and destruction heavenly Tao's momentum to strengthen his cultivation. Because of the destruction heavenly Tao's momentum, the void purple light snake didn't go forward either because it didn't like this kind of aura. The reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The soldiers of the first army were still cultivating. Knight Sorrow told Lin Piaomia to inform him when the reincarnation battlefield was out of the Nirvana Ocean and could tear open the spatial barrier to return. He wanted the soldiers of the first army to leave immediately. Captain, our cultivation speed is very fast here. Can't we stay here for a few more days? Zhuodong asked. No, we must leave as soon as we can. This is an order. Knight Sorrow looked at Zhuodong and said, I don't understand. White Meng Meng said. White Meng Meng, I think you are a little confused. The reincarnation battlefield is about to appear. The giants of various forces will definitely come here. What kind of place will this be? It's a super battlefield. We are all trash and will die if we are swept by the aftermath of the battle. When the experts of the demon-winged race come here, they will sweep us with their soul power and we won't be able to hide. Then they will make 2 more moves and... Knight Sorrow looked at White Meng Meng and said, Too scary. Let's go. We have to go. White Meng Meng shrunk her neck. We didn't expect this. It's indeed scary. They will come here immediately. We have to leave as soon as possible. We can't be hit or caught by them. Zhuodong realized the seriousness of the problem. When the time is up, I will tear the space apart with my space magic treasure. We will run away. Knight Sorrow said. Brother Sher-san, your original body should come back as soon as possible. Tianyu said. My original body is staying in a good place. The environment there is bad and no one will go there easily. The main thing is that my original body is in an epiphany. I can't stop. Besides, I am alone. I'm not afraid. I practice the properties of nothingness and space-time, and I am good at surviving in the turbulence of space. I will go back after I finish my epiphany. Knight Sorrow said. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Zhuodong and the others tried to persuade him but didn't say anything. Long Jin and Tianyu simply didn't try to persuade him. They both understood Yishan. Yishan would never let go of such an opportunity to increase his strength. No one could persuade him otherwise. After making the plan, Knight Sorrow practiced his spear skills every day. He was thinking about a new unique skill that was suitable for the infinite halberd. Considering the power of the infinite wasteland halberd that could destroy everything, Knight Sorrow felt that it could be used as a unique technique. Knight Sorrow focused on cultivating the primeval spear art. He then fused the vibration energy and wave energy into the primeval spear art. ZPF on A7. The sergeants of the First Army couldn't understand Night Sorrow's cultivation, but they could feel the power of Night Sorrow's spear art. Ripples constantly appeared around Night Sorrow's body. The ripples spread in all directions, sometimes causing the space to scream. It won't be long before 13th Brother has a new lost art. I'm so envious, Tianyu said to Long Jin, who was standing beside him. Our talent might be higher than his, but his hard work has completely made up for it. His comprehension ability is incomparable to ours. Didn't you notice that some of the things he used were researched by himself? Long Jin said. Chapter 1899. Long Jin and Tianyu looked at Night Sorrow and understood after thinking for a while. They were both Imperial Emperor realm cultivators. There were some things that they just didn't think of, but it wasn't that they couldn't understand. Then, in the tent, Night Sorrow wrote down his soul rhythm absolute art and gave it to Long Jin and Tianyu. Brother 13, is this an absolute art? Tianyu said in surprise as he held the handwritten copy of the soul defense absolute art that Night Sorrow had written. Is it important? Is it more important than you? Night Sorrow smiled. Long Jin put away the manual and was still thinking about Night Sorrow's words. He felt that dragon traversing 9 heavens was a little awkward. Could it be changed? Long Jin, you have the same attribute as me. We are both of the void attribute. You can study the spear technique that I cultivate and use it as a reference to perfect your saber technique, Night Sorrow said to Long Jin. My void attribute isn't complete. Actually, it's too rare for a complete supreme attribute to appear in this world. Even my uncle isn't one, Long Jin said. It's not important whether it's complete or not. We can slowly deduce it. Take a look at my understanding of the void attribute first. Night Sorrow stabbed out with his finger and executed the void extreme point kill. Then he explained the essence of the void attribute using a point to explode. Then he executed the void origin kill. The concepts of these two moves are completely opposite, but they seem to be related, Long Jin said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow nodded. Then he stabbed out with his finger and executed the void origin kill first before connecting it with the void origin kill. I feel guilty. Captain, you spent a lot of time and effort to come up with this technique. I'm just taking it, Long Jin said. We are brothers. Let's not talk about this. Tianyu, I have a spacetime attribute defensive absolute art here. Whether you can cultivate it or not depends on you. Even if you can't cultivate it, it's good to use it as a reference, Night Sorrow said to Tianyu. Yes, if I can't cultivate it, I'll use it as a reference. Tianyu nodded. Night Sorrow told Tianyu about the principles of cultivation in the spacetime realm. Tianyu's cultivation direction was the spacetime attribute. However, Night Sorrow's spacetime realm absolute art was not only of the spacetime attribute but also of the void attribute. It was slightly different from the one used by the soul body in the Wasteland Tower. Long Jin and Tianyu didn't say anything more. They remembered Night Sorrow's brotherly love for them. I'm a little busy right now. If you have time, you should go visit the other brothers of the God-slaying squad. I wonder how Liang Yu and Yun Huang are doing. Night Sorrow missed his brothers. It won't be a problem for Liang Yu and Yun Huang to enter the Emperor realm. It will probably take some time. The others are also working very hard. Yun Huang's nether wolf is very powerful. Its cultivation is almost on par with his. Its battle moves are also very shameless. That thing can control people's bodies. Tianyu said. It's been a long time since we last chatted. I really do miss them, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. H update plus new plus fast plus D8. Long Jin and Tianyu patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. They knew that Night Sorrow was a sentimental person. No matter what level his strength and status were, he would never forget his old brothers. Time passed slowly. The time of the reincarnation battlefield's appearance was getting closer and closer. The experts of the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon Wing clan were preparing to enter immediately. They would kill the other party's vanguard if they had the chance. Other than that, they would pick up their own people. The Black Dragons weren't prepared because the Black Dragons still didn't have the ability to fight head-on. His original body hadn't woken up. Night Sorrow knew that his original body would end his epiphany before he returned. His plan to return together had failed. He could only carry out the second plan. His original body would continue to stay there and cultivate. If the situation wasn't good, he would tear open space and return alone. Of course, this wasn't a bad thing. The longer he stayed in his epiphany, the higher his cultivation level would be. One had to know that his original body was undergoing a time acceleration of 30 times. An extra month of cultivation would be 2 years. On this day, Lin Piaomiao, who was at Night Sorrow's residence in Desolate City, received a message from the Grand Elder. In half a day, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in Nirvana Ocean. At that time, Night Sorrow would have to bring his people back immediately. The Desolate City Lord would go to the reincarnation battlefield directly. King Yawu would also send out 2 clones. One would accompany the Desolate City Lord into the reincarnation battlefield, while the other would patrol the Nirvana Ocean and wait for Night Sorrow's group. Lin Piaomiao immediately returned to the 9-domain world and informed Night Sorrow's clone of the situation. After receiving the news, Night Sorrow gathered the people of the First Army. This time we faced a lot of danger. The only thing left is to avoid being attacked by the demon-winged race on the way back. It's out of our control. Before entering, the Grand Elder had told Night Sorrow and the others that 2 years later, when the reincarnation battlefield trembled violently, they could tear open the space barrier and pass through the space turbulence to arrive above the celestial realm's Nirvana Ocean. Then they could fly back to the celestial realm by following the feeling of attraction. The reincarnation battlefield was an independent space world. Before it appeared, it was at the bottom of the Nirvana Ocean. After it appeared, the reincarnation battlefield would appear in an independent space above the Nirvana Ocean. After tearing open space and arriving above the Nirvana Ocean, one would be able to sense the affinity between the Desolate City Lord and the Celestial Realm. Then they could fly back. What they needed to pay attention to was interceptions. Now, Night Sorrow's main concern was to avoid being intercepted. Then everything would be safe. Captain, don't think too much about these things. We've tried our best. If we're unlucky enough to be intercepted, it's our bad luck, Zhuodong said. All right. Let's enter the space world. Night Sorrow put everyone into the 8-dragon cauldron. Then he flew for a distance and dismantled the 2 dark hand teleportation formations. The inter-realm teleportation formation stones could not be wasted. After doing all this, Night Sorrow held the blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear and looked at the sky quietly. At this moment, Mo Qinji was standing in front of a mountain in the Devil Mountain region. Behind her was a group of dragon-headed and snake-headed people. In a moment, all you need to do is enter my spatial Dharma treasure. Mo Qinji looked at the space treasure in her hand and said, "It was given to her by the dragon-headed ancestor, not Mo Qinji." "Don't worry, Qinji," an old man with white hair and beard said. At this moment the space trembled. Mo Qinji's white hair whipped out and shattered the space. Then she waved her hand and put all the dragon-headed and snake-headed people into her space treasure. Then she entered the space turbulence. In another direction, Night Sorrow pierced through the space barrier with his spear and entered the space turbulence. In the space turbulence the energy surged violently. However, it was chaotic and not very aggressive. Night Sorrow used the space ren to increase his speed. After a while, Night Sorrow found the space barrier. Once again he tore it apart with his spear. Night Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and controlled it to pass through the space barrier and arrive above the Nirvana Ocean. Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow heard the shout as soon as he appeared in the celestial realm. Chapter 1900. Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow appeared. Originally, he planned to dive into the Nirvana Ocean to observe the situation and avoid jumping into the enemy's trap. Didn't they run into someone who was waiting for them? Fortunately, they were on the same side. You're quite cautious. Why is it a clone? King Yawu's energy wrapped around Night Sorrow and started flying. Night Sorrow told King Yawu about his main body situation. Are you sure that area is safe? King Yawu was a little worried. Before this, he didn't know that Night Sorrow's main body was in a state of enlightenment. It's safe. The surrounding tens of thousands of kilometers is filled with void violet light serpents. It's also filled with spatial tears and disillusionment vortexes. Soul probing is greatly restricted. No one would be so bored as to run in there, Night Sorrow said. That's good. The devil-winged race and the black dragons might return after receiving their men. Enter the land of reincarnation to fight? We're not afraid of fighting early, but they might not be able to, King Yawu said in a low voice. King Yawu's location was very accurate. It was the location determined by the City Lord's great prophecy technique. King Yawu and Night Sorrow returned to the City of Desolation. His other clone and the City Lord had already entered the reincarnation battlefield. Night Sorrow transferred everyone out of the 8-dragon cauldron and told them to return to their encampment to rest. Mo Qinji left the reincarnation battlefield in another direction and met Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian. They were here to receive Mo Tianji. Mo Qinji gave the spatial treasure that the dragon-headed ancestor gave her to Mo Yutian. Then, she transferred everyone out of her spatial treasure for Mo Yutian to bring back. Qinji, what are you trying to do? Mo Yutian asked. Let's make it short. I'm going to the celestial realm because there are some problems that need to be solved. Mo Qinji quickly explained why she wanted to go to the celestial realm. Right now they have a blockade. However, because the Nirvana Ocean is currently in a state of chaos, the blockade isn't too tight. Follow this direction. Although it's a little far, it's still relatively safe. Mo Yuqian didn't try to persuade Mo Tianji. Now was indeed a good time to sneak into the celestial realm. Mo Tianji flashed and left. She had to make the best use of her time. Once the Nirvana storm on the Nirvana Sea recovered, it would be difficult to enter the celestial realm again. Watching Mo Tianji leave, Mo Yutian and Mo Zhantian looked at each other. They had no choice but to let Mo Tianji take the risk. She had a reason to go to the celestial realm, whether it was for public or private reasons. After the black dragons and flying serpents appeared, they ran towards the celestial realm. They were running for their lives. Mo Tianji, who was flying over the Nirvana Ocean, took out a special cloak and covered her body and hair. She maintained a distance from the black dragons as she flew. She knew that the black dragons and the Celestial Realms 100 Races Alliance didn't get along well. However, the 100 Races Alliance hadn't reached the point of killing the black dragons yet. After flying for a while, Mo Tianji changed her direction and blended into the same area as the black dragons. She was trying to avoid the blockade of the Celestial Realm by the 100 Races Alliance. Now, she was changing her direction to avoid being discovered by the black dragons. Night Sorrow returned to his residence. Pu Luo and Fentian were very happy to see Night Sorrow. Where are the great demon king Yu Zhu and Ruisi? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. During your absence, the Humanitarian League sought stability. The great demon king was preparing to undergo the heavenly tribulation. Ruisi and Yu Zhu also went back to increase their strength. Knowing that you're back, they'll be here soon, Pu Luo said. Then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. There's one more thing. Not far from the ethereal Imperial City's Night Moon Villa, there's a woman who has concealed her aura. She has been monitoring the Night Moon Villa. I observed her from afar and confirmed that she speaks the dragon language, Lin Piaomiao said. The dragon language has appeared. Let's not mention this to anyone else. I'll go back and take a look, Night Sorrow said. When it came to the black dragons, things were more serious. The banishment last time was an example. Night Sorrow hated the black dragons. If it were other black dragons, Night Sorrow would have killed them. However, the dragon language was different. That was his friend. After Night Sorrow left, Pu Luo stood up. Fentian, get someone to inform the great demon king Ruisi and Yu Zhu. Tell them that the Alliance Master is back. Also, I need to go to the ethereal Imperial City. The news of the dragon language must be sealed. I'll help the Alliance Master clean up the traces. I'll go back with you, Lin Piaomiao said. Pu Luo nodded. With the appearance of the dragon language, the aftermath of this matter was very important. Lin Piaomiao was the overlord of the ethereal Imperial City. It would be more convenient for her to deal with this matter. Night Sorrow returned to the ethereal Imperial City. Just as he arrived at the entrance of the Night Moon Villa, the dragon language in a black cloak appeared. He didn't say anything. Night Sorrow brought the dragon language into the Night Moon Villa without saying anything. He then went to a quiet loft. Because of me, you were exiled to the infinite wasteland by the 100 Races Alliance for 8 years. I'm sorry. Dragon language bowed to Night Sorrow. We're friends. This matter is nothing. I went out for a period of time. When I heard from Piaomiao that you had appeared, I hurried back. You have to hide now. You can't show your face, Night Sorrow said. It seems that no matter how deep the hatred between you and the black dragons is, you still treat me, the dragon language, as a friend, dragon language said. Yes, the black dragons are the black dragons. The dragon language is the dragon language. These are two different matters. Night Sorrow nodded. I came to find you to tell you something. When I reached the Emperor Realm, I went to investigate my background and why the black dragons betrayed the Celestial Realm. I have some clues now, but I've also been exposed. Not only is the 100 Races Alliance looking for me, but the black dragons are also looking for me, dragon language said. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for the dragon language. He knew that the dragon language must have found something. Then the dragon language told Night Sorrow that before the black dragons reincarnated, there was an outstanding black dragon king. The black dragon's strength and reputation were mostly due to him. Because he was powerful, it was difficult for his bloodline to continue. His wife gave birth to 2 dragon eggs, but they couldn't hatch. One of them fell into the hands of the demon-winged clan. All these years, the black dragons had been controlled by the demon-winged clan because of their ancestors' bloodline. You mean the black dragons are innocent? They were controlled by the demon-winged clan because they had no choice? Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't expect there to be such a reason. Not really. It was like that at first, but later it changed. They secretly married each other. The current Black Dragon King Long Zhe has the bloodline of the demon-winged clan, Dragon Language said. So complicated? Night Sorrow's expression changed. If the Black Dragon King had the bloodline of the demon-winged clan, then the Black Dragons and the 100 Races Alliance would fight to the death. Chapter 1901. So that's how it is. We can't continue investigating. Your safety is the most important thing. Now that I know the general situation, I know what to do, Night Sorrow said. My safety is the most important thing. Perhaps that's why I'm not worried about you. Dragon Language felt very secure looking at Night Sorrow. After Dragon Language left the Devil Blood realm, many things happened. She didn't know who to trust. She couldn't even trust her own people, but she trusted Night Sorrow. We're friends? Let's go. I'll send you to the Primal Chaos realm. Night Sorrow didn't want Dragon Language to stay in the Celestial realm because the Celestial realm wasn't safe. I heard that your god-slaying squad has been working hard to cultivate. I've seen their aura and spirit back then. I want to join, Dragon Language said. All right. The current captain of the god-slaying squad is also a member of the dragons. I'll talk to him about this. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that the god-slaying squad was safe enough. Even if the Primal Chaos realm was infiltrated, the god-slaying squad wouldn't be infiltrated. He had Night Moon Villa's Ji Dao go and call Long Jin and Tianyu over. Night Sorrow introduced Dragon Language to them. I'm Long Jin. Although I hate the Black Dragons, I respect my brother's friends. From today onwards, you're our brother and sister. We'll have fun together and kill enemies together. Night Sorrow extended his hand to Dragon Language. We'll kill enemies together and have fun together. I remember that you were very weak during the Realm War, Dragon Language said after a formal handshake. Oh, that was then and this is now. Captain, don't worry. With us brothers around, no one can touch Dragon Language. Long Jin coughed and said to Night Sorrow. Make sure to hide her identity. Let's go to the God-slaying squad's cultivation base together. Night Sorrow thought for a while and decided to visit his brothers and sisters in the God-slaying squad himself. Lin Piaomiao appeared as well. The group arrived near the Eye of the Storm, where the God-slaying team was stationed. The members of the God-slaying squad were all very happy to see Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was naturally the same. Zhan Tan, Mo Qin and Guan Yi were his 3 senior brothers. Qin Zhen, Liang Yu, Yun Huang and Chen Yu were all his brothers. Everyone is working hard, but remember, you have to know when to relax, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Yes, there are some bottlenecks that can't be helped, Qin Zhen said. He was now at the Monarch realm, but he couldn't cultivate to the peak and enter the Heavenly Monarch realm. This situation was very common in the God-slaying team. Liang Yu and Yun Huang were also stuck in the same situation, unable to take the step from the Monarch realm to the Heaven Monarch realm. Brothers, my aptitude is not bad, right? Becoming a Heavenly Monarch means that you have the potential to become one. However, I've been stuck at the bottleneck for millions of years. Do the math. I've been in jail for 5 million years, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, don't put us down like that. 5 million years? That's too scary, Mo Qin said. They all addressed Zhan Tan as eldest senior brother just like Night Sorrow. Ah, I'm not putting you down. I'm just giving you confidence, Zhan Tan said with a smile. Who are we? We are members of the God-slaying team, the most outstanding group of cultivators in the world. There's nothing we can't do. However, we can't ask too much of ourselves. Look, how many emperors are there in the Ethereal Empire? They have been accumulating for countless years or even epochs, Night Sorrow said. Everyone drank tea and chatted. They had been brothers for too long and had walked through life and death situations. They were friends who had gone through life and death situations. Night Sorrow and Long Jin also introduced the Dragon Language to everyone. They also mentioned some things to take note of. The Dragon Language couldn't be known to outsiders. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow decided to leave. Long Jin and Tianyu decided to stay. They also needed to cultivate and settle down. Only Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao wanted to leave. Leader, thank you for the Saint Spirit Stones. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to keep up, Liang Yu said. You don't have enough Saint Spirit Stones? Yishang was stunned. Yeah. So many of our brothers leveled up because of King's level. Plus, we used up a lot of space treasures. However, the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones you asked Wu Feng Mansion Master to give us should be enough for us to use for a long time, Liang Yu said. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. I'm sorry, brothers. It was my negligence that we didn't have enough resources. I didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. I'll take note of the resources in the future. Leader, you didn't know about the 10 million Saint Spirit Stones? Then it's not appropriate for us to use their resources. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. There's nothing inappropriate about it. I was the one who gave it to Wu Feng. What's mine is Night Sorrow's. When Night Sorrow isn't around you can tell me anything, Lin Piaomiao said. Thank you, 13th Aunt. Qin Zhen and the rest shouted. Qin Zhen used to be a man of few words. However, it was different now. He was happy to be with his brothers. Night Sorrow left. When he got on the teleportation array he didn't turn around. He just waved his arm. I can't see the leader's cultivation. The gap is getting bigger. I wonder when we can fight together again, Ho Jian said with some emotion. Don't give yourself pressure. The leader wants us to live well. If we feel pressured because of this, the leader won't feel comfortable, Lei Bao said. You're smart for once. Liang Yu patted Lei Bao's shoulder. Long Jin, tell us. How did you go on a killing spree with the leader this time? Qian Yu asked Long Jin. Qian Yu and Long Jin came from the 9 Firmament World Group, so they were more familiar with each other. It went very smoothly this time. However, it should be the most embarrassing time since I met the leader. We were chased for a year. Tian Yu and I took turns to run. For more than a year we were flying most of the time. Long Jin laughed loudly. What's the situation? You were chased for a year? Everyone's interest was piqued when they heard Long Jin's words. In their minds, it was always Night Sorrow who chased after others. That's an old woman. Her cultivation is an emperor. Do you know what an emperor is? Can we kill her? If we can outrun her it's actually a win, Tian Yu said. When Tian Yu said that everyone was stunned. What kind of concept was an emperor? Everyone was clear. That's not an ordinary emperor. The leader can kill an ordinary emperor. That emperor is one of the 3 great heavens of the Demon Wing clan, Mo Tianji. She's a soul recultivator and her combat power is super strong, Tian Yu explained again. He felt that this matter wasn't embarrassing at all. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City because there were still many things to do. Night Sorrow had just entered the mansion when he saw the Grand Elder and King Yowu. After greeting them, Night Sorrow told them about the operation and the current state of his main body. Epiphany. This is very rare. Tell Uncle the approximate area. When Uncle went over, the Demon Wing clan didn't enter the reincarnation battlefield. Uncle didn't fight, King Yowu said. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Chapter 1902. Night Sorrow took out the map written by Lingling. He marked out the approximate area he was in and handed it to King Yowu. Alright, don't worry and cultivate. Uncle's clone is on the Demon Mountain. He'll be there later, King Yowu said. I'm sorry for the delay because of my own cultivation. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yowu and the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder reached out and helped Night Sorrow up. It's a good thing to have an epiphany. This time your uncle will guard you. I'll do it next time. Thank you, Grand Elder. Thank you, Uncle. There's no problem with the item. It's always been with me, Night Sorrow said. From your point of view, it's not necessarily the safest choice for the clone of the human sovereign skeleton to hold on to. You're right, King Yowu said. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and then told King Yowu and the Grand Elder about the journey to the reincarnation battlefield. This time, not only did you get the human sovereign skeleton, but you also got the infinite desolation halberd. For the fate of the infinite desolation and the celestial realm, our advantage will become more obvious as time passes, the Grand Elder said. But the demon ancestor's soul fragment is still there. It's a big hidden danger, Night Sorrow expressed his concern. You don't have to worry about that. The demon ancestor was defeated by the human sovereign when he was at his peak. Now he's just a remnant soul. If he dares to come out and cause trouble, the remnant soul will be destroyed, King Yowu said with confidence. Okay, then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry and cultivate. Uncle saw your real body, but this void purple light snake is really difficult to deal with. After King Yewu finished speaking, he left Night Sorrow's residence with the Grand Elder. Uncle is here. You're absolutely safe, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. She felt a lot more at ease. Pu Luo and Fentian returned. Pu Luo cleaned up the traces of the dragon language, while Fentian patrolled the area of influence of the Humanitarian League. While they were drinking tea and chatting, people came back one after another. First it was Yuzhu and Ruisi. Then it was the Great Demon King in a black robe. I've been busy for 2 years and you all ran away. Night Sorrow stood up and poured tea for them. Why don't you run for another 2 years? By the time you come back, I'll already be an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. The Great Demon King said after finishing the tea in one gulp. Have you passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law? Pu Luo asked the Great Demon King. Yes, after passing the 7 and 8 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, there's quite a lot of room for improvement. That's why I didn't attempt the 9 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. I should complete it in the next few years. The Great Demon King nodded. Recently he had been frantically increasing his strength. Then Yuzhu said that she had good news to tell everyone. After extorting a bag of tea from Night Sorrow and a jar of wine from the Great Demon King, she told everyone that her subordinates had seen the Sky Limit Saint Emperor in Bai Chuyuan's White Emperor City. Hearing this, the Great Demon King stood up immediately. Old bastard, you're finally not hiding anymore. Alright, let's go kill him. Night Sorrow didn't want anyone from the Sky Limit sect to escape the net. That would be a threat to the Ethereal Empire and Star Moon Lake. The Great Demon King waved his hand and didn't let Night Sorrow follow him. He set off with Ruisi. The Great Demon King will settle it. You have a lot of things to do, so stay calm for a while. When you're in a state of enlightenment, your doppelgangers will fight fiercely. It's easy for your main body to wake up prematurely. Then it won't be worth it, Lin Piaomiao said. Yuzhu smiled. You have to know that the Great Demon King has already passed the 8 tribulations of the heavenly law. Back then, before he passed the tribulation, he already killed that guy. Now that he's gone, he'll directly solve the problem. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't worried that the Great Demon King wouldn't be able to deal with Ling Tianji. He just wanted to kill him once. After chatting with Pu Luo and Ruisi for a while, Night Sorrow left the mansion. After thinking for a while, he went to the high tower where the Grand Elder was. At this moment, in the small space world inside the high tower, King Yewu and the Grand Elder were talking about the Demon Mountain situation, as well as the results of searching the memories of the dragon-headed man and snake-headed man after capturing them. That means that the Black Dragon's betrayal has something to do with their bloodline. Is this a deep collusion? The Grand Elder frowned. If bloodline was involved, then the problem was serious. Noticing Night Sorrow's arrival, the Grand Elder opened the door to the small space world and let Night Sorrow in. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at King Yewu and the Grand Elder. I have something to say. At the same time, I hope that Martial Uncle and Grand Elder won't make things difficult for an innocent person. Say it. If you think it's innocent, we will naturally consider it. King Yewu nodded. Night Sorrow told them about the appearance of the dragon language, as well as the results of the investigation of the dragon language. The outstanding Black Dragon King from the previous reincarnation was Ao Yang. Ao Yang's son was lost? Is the current dragon-headed man related to Ao Yang's bloodline? King Yewu's face was full of shock. 2 black dragon eggs, one is lost. What about the other one? Which of the black dragons did the other one belong to? The Grand Elder also had questions. Night Sorrow doesn't know about this. I only know that the current Black Dragon King Long Zhe is definitely on the side of the Demon Wing clan. I don't want to say the specific dragon language and I don't want to force my friend to say anything, Night Sorrow said. The dragon language. She didn't mix with the black dragons. That's for sure. Now let's see how to deal with this matter, King Yewu said. Talk to the city lord and see if it's necessary to attack the black dragons and release the imprisoned black dragons. If it's possible, then the truth will be revealed to the world, the Grand Elder said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow didn't say anything else. He just told them what he knew. He didn't care about the next plans and arrangements. It wasn't something he could control. Seeing King Yewu and the Grand Elder pondering, Night Sorrow left the small space world. Night Sorrow felt a little uneasy, but he didn't know the reason. There was originally some danger in his original body's epiphany, but with King Yewu's arrival, it was absolutely safe. Emo Tianji smoothly arrived in the celestial realm. This allowed her to let out a sigh of relief. She had a chance of accomplishing some of the following things. Emo Tianji was a smart person. In the desolate heaven domain she was a wise person. After arriving in the celestial realm, she was very cautious and knew that there were some places she couldn't go. The desolate heaven domain and the divine capital were places she couldn't go. Her aura could easily be discovered by the giants of the 100-Race Alliance. She was only a middle-class emperor and couldn't fight against some experts. Once she was exposed, some plans couldn't be carried out in secret. Emo Chinji's main target was Night Sorrow. The desolate heaven domain halberd and her original body were both in Night Sorrow's hands. If she took back her body, she could return to her peak state. If she also took back the desolate heaven domain halberd, she wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Chapter 1903. Emo Chinji knew a little about Night Sorrow. Back then, Ma Tiantu's group of monarchs had dug up some information about Night Sorrow. Emo Chinji realized that her attire was very eye-catching. Her white hair was 30,000 feet long. Who would look like her? After thinking for a while, Emo Chinji exhaled and changed her body's energy. Her white hair hid in her body and then she activated her energy. Black hair that reached her waist appeared. The black hair covered her white hair. She took off her black cloak and changed into a loose white robe. It was her casual attire when she was resting. After entering a city and buying a map of the celestial realm, Emo Chinji teleported to the ethereal dynasty. She planned to enter Night Sorrow's 9 Zones world first. As long as she entered the 9 Zones world and destroyed the teleportation formation, the 9 Zones world would be her territory. In the 9 Zones world, Night Sorrow had many weaknesses. As long as she took down his family and friends, Night Sorrow would be obedient. Night Sorrow stayed in the desolate city every day to practice the intense spear art. He was creating the ultimate art for the desolate war halberd. It was a good thing for Night Sorrow that the main body's epiphany didn't end. On Night Sorrow's day, the great demon king and Wuxia returned after he finished practicing the spear art. How was it? Night Sorrow asked. It went well. Ling Tianji's main body and doppelganger were all killed. Bai Chuyuan's main body was also killed. However, the great demon king was too inhumane. When Bai Chuyuan was about to die, he forced me to hit him with a brick. I have to apologize to the Grand Elder later. Wuxia looked at the great demon king with resentment. We are all brothers in the Humanitarian League. We have to go through thick and thin together. Do you think you can just watch me kill someone? Then when I come back and the Grand Elder scolds me, you will be fine? You are overthinking. The great demon king acted as if he didn't see Wuxia's gaze. After drinking a pot of tea, the demon king and Wuxia went to report to the Grand Elder. They had to inform the Grand Elder about killing Bai Zongyuan. Pu Luo, how's my Aunt Fei's coronation? Night Sorrow asked. It's very lively. All the 100 races have sent representatives. Other than you, the leader of the Humanitarian League, the other 6 elders have all arrived. In addition to your gift, our Humanitarian League has also prepared other gifts, so it won't be a problem. Pulo told Night Sorrow about the situation at that time. J. Most Q New Chapter 50, Q above, asterisk, thank you. This is the first time I've broken my promise to someone. It's the first time I've failed to keep my promise to someone. Night Sorrow felt a little regretful in his heart because he really didn't want to disappoint Wu Lingfei. The Ice Phoenix matriarch can understand. After hearing about what happened to you, she was very worried, Pu Luo said. Night Sorrow nodded. Now that things had come to this, he could only wait for his main body to come out of seclusion and find time to go again. After a while, the Demon King and Wuxia returned. The two of them didn't have any shame on their faces after being reprimanded. Instead, they were full of anger. What happened? Pu Luo asked. We met that old bastard Yukuan. He said all sorts of unpleasant things, saying that the two of us are the black sheep of the herd, Wuxia said angrily. Then the two of you aren't going to do anything to him? Fen Tian returned from outside and just happened to hear Wuxia's words. Do we directly attack him in front of the Grand Elder? If it's not in front of the Grand Elder, we'll do it directly, Wuxia said. Pu Luo laughed. This isn't a big deal. Looks like this Yukuan needs to be dealt with. He can't always be by the Grand Elder's side, right? This idiot always wants to slap our Humanitarian League's face. Then there's no need for us to be polite. Revenge doesn't wait overnight. Keep an eye on him and deal with him tonight, Night Sorrow said. League Master, this joke won't work. If we touch him, we'll inevitably be scolded by the Council of Elders. It's not worth it. The Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with surprise in his eyes. This wasn't something that Night Sorrow would say. The Humanitarian League was built by us. We have a clear conscience. The Humanitarian League is also our face. If we hit anyone who wants to hit us, how can we still survive? We'll deal with him tonight. I hate him from the bottom of my heart. He's not a good person. I'll bear all the consequences. Night Sorrow's thoughts were very firm. Since League Master said so, then let's deal with him. He almost killed us last time and now he's still so arrogant. He really thinks he's a dish. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, the Demon King's blood rushed to his head. Pu Luo, if it's inconvenient for you then don't go. We'll deal with him without a problem. Lin Piaomiao looked at Pu Luo. After all, Yu Kuan and Pu Luo were both law enforcement elders of the Council of Elders. She was worried that there were some things that Pu Luo couldn't face. What do you mean it's inconvenient for me? If he wants to go against the Humanitarian League, then it's convenient for me at any time. Pu Luo said with a smile. At this time the Grand Elder came to Lu Qi's residence. He waved his hand and asked Lu Qi, who was about to make tea, to sit down. Grand Elder, what's the matter? Lu Qi took the empty teapot and sat down. The Grand Elder told Lu Qi about Yu Kuan's suppression of the Demon King and Ruisi. Grand Elder, I don't quite understand. The Humanitarian League's reputation is at its peak. Although it's a little flamboyant, it's in line with the heavens and humanity. Yu Kuan shouldn't be doing this at this time. Lu Qi said with some confusion. Some things don't have evidence, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm too lazy to investigate the details. Let the Humanitarian League deal with it and the matter will be over. I came to you because I think the Humanitarian League will make a move soon. You have to watch the situation and don't let it escalate. The Grand Elder said. Okay, Lu Qi understands. Lu Qi nodded. After the Grand Elder left, Lu Qi sighed. There were some things that he knew and had been through his hands. One of them was investigating Yu Kuan. Back then, Lin Piaomiao and the Demon King led people to fight against the Demon Winged clan in Mount Tianhuang. Under Yu Kuan's strong command, the entire army was almost wiped out. It was Pu Luo who led people and pulled them back from the brink of death. After the investigation, the mobilization of people at that time couldn't be justified. It didn't conform to common sense and it shouldn't have been because of Yu Kuan. There were also a few incidents that shouldn't have happened. Without exception they all happened to Yu Kuan. The Demon King was the one who arranged to keep an eye on Yu Kuan. He had 3 groups of people in Mount Tianhuang. There was no problem in keeping an eye on Yu Kuan. After the moon rose, Night Sorrow led people out of the mansion. Yu Kuan was still in Mount Tianhuang. He was looking at a compass in a daze. He was holding the yin-yang compass. The yin-yang compass was yin and yang. As long as one moved, the other would move too. After arriving near Yu Kuan's mansion, Pu Luo first entered Yu Kuan's mansion. Pu Luo, are you here on behalf of the Humanitarian League? Yu Kuan asked. That's right. Let me ask you. Do you have to stick your nose in our Humanitarian League's business? Pu Luo's face, which was originally full of smiles, was now very serious. I'm the law enforcement elder of the 100 Races Alliance's Council of Elders. It's normal for me to meddle in anything, right? Yu Kuan asked back. Chapter 1904. Zhang Ziwen unsealed Pu Luo was here to kill. If Yu Kuan had a better attitude, Pu Luo would have hesitated. But Yu Kuan was stubborn. Pu Luo had no reason to be polite. Pu Luo, are you crazy? Yu Kuan retreated, his eyes full of shock. He didn't expect Pu Luo to attack. In the past, Pu Luo was famous for his good temper. He was sunny, kind, and easy to get along with. But now, they were 2 completely different things. Pu Luo attacked violently. I'm crazy? You're the crazy one. Is your brain full of shit? You want to slap the Humanitarian League's face? Pu Luo kept attacking with his fists. Pu Luo's fists weren't divine weapons, but they were stronger than divine weapons. His fists were extremely fierce. His fists shattered Yu Kuan's mansion. At this time, the housekeeper of Yu Kuan's mansion attacked Pu Luo. I'll stop him. Go find someone to stop him. A random subordinate is an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Yu Kuan, you've hidden yourself well. Pu Luo was surprised. He punched the housekeeper with his left hand. At the same time he sent a message to Night Sorrow and the others. He wanted to capture this housekeeper alive. They were likely to investigate Yu Kuan's background. Pu Luo continued to attack Yu Kuan. Go inform the Grand Elder. Yu Kuan shouted at the housekeeper. He wanted to find the Grand Elder, but Pu Luo didn't let him. The housekeeper couldn't restrain Pu Luo. As soon as the housekeeper left the mansion, a spatial crack appeared in front of him. Then several figures appeared. Domain suppression and absolute art control. following which 5 shining golden bricks of human Tao appeared. Following which this housekeeper's head, chin, back of his head, chest and back were struck. His body went soft as he fell to the ground and fainted. 5 people hit the bricks. Night Sorrow didn't do anything because 5 people were enough. Humanitarian League, you won with more people. Aren't you afraid of losing face? Yu Kuan's face changed. He knew that today was his doom. The Humanitarian League really wanted to mess with him. Losing face? I don't think so. As long as you're not stupid, you know that it doesn't matter how many people you hit. You Kuan, are no different from a mad dog when you open your mouth and bite people. Ruisi threw out a harsh sentence, making Yu Kuan's face turn red. Lu Qi, who was watching from afar, shook his head. He didn't expect Ruisi, who usually didn't speak much, to say such words. Pu Luo, I won't give you a chance to practice alone and prove yourself. Take him down and end this quickly, the great demon king shouted at Pu Luo. What do I have to prove? That I'm stronger than him? Everyone in the Council of Elders knows this. Why do we need any proof? Everyone get to work. Pu Luo replied to the great demon king. He realized that many people had appeared around him, so he had to end the battle quickly. The commotion caused by the battle was huge. The elders of the Council of Elders, as well as some law enforcers and deacons, all discovered it. However, they were stopped outside by a law enforcer team led by Lu Qi. Yu Kuan used a clone, but it wasn't enough. He was an Emperor Tribulation level cultivator. In terms of strength, he wasn't as strong as Pu Luo. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao were both close to the Emperor Tribulation level and had the strength to fight above their level. He couldn't stop them. The battle was very fierce. The area was destroyed and Yu Kuan was heavily injured. His clone was killed, and his head was split in half by the Great Demon King. Stop immediately. The Grand Elder won't allow you to mess around. This is a lose-lose situation, Yu Kuan shouted. He would be a fool if he still couldn't see the situation. The onlookers also knew that Night Sorrow and the others weren't here to educate Yu Kuan. They were here to kill him. 7th Elder, why didn't you stop them? Yu Kuan shouted at Lu Qi when he noticed him. Lu Qi was a disciplined elder. If he stopped them, Night Sorrow and the others would give him face. Why should I stop them? If you have a conflict, then solve it. We'll talk about it after that. If there's a conflict within the 100 Races Alliance, it's better to solve it first. Lu Qi didn't care. He was here to carry out the Grand Elder's arrangement and not let the situation escalate. Lu Qi, you despicable person. You're a disciplined elder. How can you be bribed? Yu Kuan was furious. He knew that Lu Qi didn't want to care about him. Hurry up. Yu Zhu shouted. Then her sword changed. She used her ultimate move. She was worried that a long delay would lead to trouble. As Yu Zhu used her ultimate move, the people from the Humanitarian League also used their ultimate moves. Night Sorrow used the Soul Destruction Crescent Moon Blade and slashed at Yu Kuan. As Night Sorrow and the others used their ultimate moves, Yu Kuan naturally couldn't take it. Pu Luo's fist shattered his spiritual sea. The Great Demon King's weapon also pierced his dantian. Pu Luo quickly collected the spoils of war. Storage rings, weapons and Dharma treasures. These were all spoils of war. This is the result of going against the Humanitarian League. If you don't like it, then try it, Ruisi shouted at the crowd. Slap. Pu Luo slapped the back of Ruisi's head. Are you stupid? Do you think that the disturbance is small and that you want to make some enemies for the Humanitarian League? Looking at the other people staring at him, Reese knew that his attempt to establish his authority had failed miserably. It was completely untimely. Retreat. Night Sorrow shouted. The few of them left Yu Kuan's mansion. Of course, it wasn't a mansion anymore. It was a ruin. When they passed by Lu Qi, Night Sorrow threw a jar of wine to him. Then they quickly left the area. Ruisi's shouting was stopped by Pu Luo. However, everyone watching the battle knew that they couldn't provoke the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League really didn't give them any face. They were ruthless and underhanded. No matter who it was, they were serious. In terms of status and identity, Yu Kuan was already very high. In the Elders Association, other than the Grand Elder and the 7 Elders, the Elder of Law Enforcement had the highest status. But so what? He was directly killed. Lu Qi sighed as he held the jar of wine in his hand. He knew that if he didn't handle it well, his reputation would be ruined tonight. It would be ruined by this jar of wine. The onlookers didn't know that it was the Grand Elder's order. They all thought that he had been roped in by the Humanitarian League. Evidence? This jar of wine was the evidence. After leaving the area of Yu Kuan's mansion, Night Sorrow didn't return to his mansion directly. Instead, he brought Pu Luo, the great demon king, and the others to the First Army's encampment. When they arrived at the encampment, Night Sorrow called White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling to the commander's office. Then he threw out the unconscious Yukuan's butler. Meng Meng Lingling, do me a favor. Check his soul memory. If there's anything that's not beneficial to the 100 Races Alliance or something that can't be exposed, record it down, Night Sorrow said to White Meng Meng and Bai Lingling. At this time, Tianyu and Long Jin also arrived in the tent. Before Night Sorrow could say anything, they each pressed on one of the butler's shoulders. The great demon king held the human Dao gold brick, squatted in front of the butler's head, and waved his hand again. Don't worry. Carry out the investigation. He definitely won't wake up. Could he wake up? As soon as there were signs of him waking up, the gold brick would go straight to his head. Search Cool Craftsman on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Say. Chapter 1905. Zhang Ziwen unsealed. White Meng Meng made a move. She used the Nine-Tailed Fox Clan soul illusion technique to attack Yukuan's spirit sea. Would an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator be someone's butler? It didn't make sense, so Night Sorrow asked White Meng Meng and the others to check their memories. Seeing White Meng Meng begin to check, Night Sorrow went to the side to study the things left behind by Yukuan. Yukuan was dead, so his storage ring was naturally ownerless. Night Sorrow took the things outside one by one. Yin-Yang compass. There's something wrong with this thing. Pu Luo picked up the Yin-Yang compass that Night Sorrow put aside and said, "What's this?" Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked, "It's a messenger. No matter how far it is, when the Yin compass and the Yang compass move, the other one will move as well," Pu Luo said. "This only shows that it's possible. It's mainly because of that guy's memories." Night Sorrow was stunned when he said this. At this moment, White Meng Meng had already used her illusion technique. She grabbed Yukuan's head with her left hand and dragged a memory crystal ball with her right hand. The crystal ball contained the butler's memories. The city in the image was different from what Night Sorrow knew. This wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the people in the image all had a single horn and 2 wings. They were from the Demon Wing clan. What did this mean? It meant that this butler wasn't from the Celestial Realm, but from the Demon Wing clan. The great demon king moved his left hand and an energy shattered Yukuan's hairpin. Then he pulled it. Night Sorrow and the others saw that there was no hair in the center of Yukuan's hairpin. There was a scar. It's the same as the Demon Wing clan's Imperial Emperor team. He's from the Demon Wing clan after the broken horn and wings. I just don't know when this guy sneaked in, Night Sorrow said. This evidence is enough. With a Demon Wing clan's Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator as his trusted aide, how could Yukuan be a good person? Ah. Pu Luo said with a laugh. Keep your voice down and see if you can dig out more. Yu Zhu glared at Pu Luo. Yu Zhu, you're so mean. When I was a law enforcer, you and Reese lived a good life. I did all the work myself. Now you're glaring at me. That's too sad. Pu Luo sighed. Hey, don't be sad. Once we're done with this guy, I'll treat you to tea at the Twilight Tea House. Let's go to the best restaurant, Yu Zhu said. Our Cool Craftsman. Net, original percent first. Looking at Yu Zhu, Pu Luo smiled. They had known each other for a long time, so even if it was a joke, Yu Zhu would not let him down. Everyone knows what this thing is? Glaze steel is a forging material that can only be produced on planet Tianhuang. Did he collude with the Demon Wing clan? The great demon king asked as he took out a shining forging material from Night Sorrow's pile. Now that Yukuan's matter had been resolved, Lu Qi dismissed everyone. He sighed and carried the wine to the Grand Elder's pocket dimension. What's wrong? Do you think everyone will look at you differently? Do you think you're in cahoots with the Humanitarian League? The Grand Elder asked. I've treasured my entire life. Now it's been ruined by a few bastards. Lu Qi opened the wine jar. Lu Qi, you too? Fine. I'll drink this wine. The Grand Elder shook his head. This jar of wine is hard to swallow, so Lu Qi won't drink it himself, Lu Qi said. You're overthinking. The great demon king and Lin Piaomiao have long been suspicious of Yukuan. How can they not investigate after killing him? Judging from the way those guys do things, not to mention that Yukuan himself is not clean, even if he was clean he would still be covered in shit. The great elder said with a smile. That means the Council of Elders will make an announcement about Yukuan's case tomorrow? The Humanitarian League's actions are just this time, and the law enforcers are just enforcing the law? Lucci asked in surprise. That's right. There is indeed a problem with Yukuan. There are some things that don't stick to trifles. The Grand Elder looked at Lucci and shook his head. He knew that Lucci was very principled. Of course, this was also one of the main reasons why he became a discipline elder. Night Sorrow had investigated clearly. The expert of the Demon Wing clan around Yukuan was called Dark Feather. He was sent to the Celestial Realm by the Demon Wing clan. Some information was passed to Yukuan by him, and some things he did not know were orders given to Yukuan by the higher-ups of the Demon Wing clan through the Yin and Yang compass. After investigating clearly, Night Sorrow, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King carried the unconscious Dark Feather to the Grand Elder's small space world. Grand Elder, Seventh Elder is in a good mood. Looking at the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder drinking, Night Sorrow was taken aback for a moment. Have you arranged the aftermath? Be realistic, the Grand Elder said. This evidence is real, not fabricated. Night Sorrow activated the crystal ball that White Meng Meng used to explore Dark Feather's memory. After looking at it for a while, the Grand Elder sighed, and Lucci's face was also full of anger. This person is the housekeeper of Yukuan. His cultivation base is at the level of the fifth tribulation of the heavenly Tao. Look at the root of his bun, there are scars of broken horns and traces of broken wings on his back, the Great Demon King said. This Yin and Yang compass should be a tool for the Demon Wing clan to contact Yukuan. This glass steel may be the reward for the Demon Wing clan to ask Yukuan to do something. Night Sorrow put away the glass steel and did not give it to the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder. Night Sorrow, you are now the captain of the First Army. Not only do you have your own domain, but you are also the leader of the Humanitarian League. Is there a need to be so stingy over a piece of material? Lu Qi said somewhat speechlessly. This is not my own. It is the spoils of war of our Humanitarian League. When we go back we will divide it, Night Sorrow said. You have done a good job. This matter will be left to the Council of Elders. The Grand Elder was still a little uncomfortable. After all, Yukuan had been in the Council of Elders for a long time. Now that he was proven to be a spy, he was still a little disappointed. Night Sorrow, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King left, leaving the captive Dark Feather to the Grand Elder. Lu Qi got up and placed a seal on Dark Feather's Dantian and Spirit Sea. In order to unravel the foundation of Yukuan, it was better for Dark Feather to be alive. The Merit Emperor, the Human Emperor's seal, and the Human Emperor's ceremony, he actually represents the human Tao. There must be a reason for him to not see eye to eye with someone. Even if he doesn't see eye to eye with him, he must not be a good person. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi did not speak. He already knew that Night Sorrow had the Human Emperor's seal and the Human Emperor's ceremony's sacred text of Taoism. Look at the path he has taken, it is a legend. Even the previous Human Emperor was not so amazing. It took him tens of thousands of years to become an emperor. But look at him. He is now a 6 stars emperor and is still in the process of enlightenment. Just thinking about it is scary. The Grand Elder said with some emotion. Grand Elder, the existence of Night Sorrow is not a secret in Tianhuang. If the other party continues to send people to kill him at all costs, it will be troublesome. We have to pay attention to his safety and help cover up his weakness. Lu Qi said. Yes, it is also easy for the Black Dragons to deal with him. So, you take 2 elders to the ethereal Imperial City area and watch over his area of influence. His weakness is that he values friendship. The Grand Elder thought for a moment and made arrangements. Search for Cool Craftsman Net on WeChat, follow the name of the new work, and read the full text. Said, the second update has arrived. I wish all my brothers and sisters a happy Qixi. Chapter 1906. We still have to do the hard work. I'll go talk to King Yewu. Let someone else take care of the divine capital first. Lu Qi said. All right. You make the arrangements. The human race is going to prosper. The 100 races are going to rise. The Grand Elder was very happy. When Night Sorrow, the Great Demon King and Pu Luo returned to the mansion, Lin Piaomiao and Yu Zhu had already prepared the banquet. After dealing with Yukuan, everyone had vented their anger. Naturally they had to celebrate. Tomorrow, after Yukuan's matter is announced, our Humanitarian League's reputation will go up another level. Who dares to mess with us? Ruisi was also very excited. Next time, don't you think before you speak? The Humanitarian League's mission is to punish evil and promote good. You're making it sound like we're from the underworld. Pu Luo glared at Ruisi. If he doesn't listen, we'll have a meeting to vote to expel him from the Humanitarian League. The Humanitarian League doesn't accept scum. Yu took a sip of wine and said. Ruisi looked at the group dumbfounded. Isn't this too serious? I just said one wrong thing. Plus, I'm one of the founding members of the Humanitarian League. How can you expel me just because you want to? Do you have any morals? We don't care about the morals of the underworld. We deal with all of them ruthlessly. Lin Piamiao smiled. Sect Elder Lin, you weren't like this in the past. You've gone astray. Ruisi shook his head helplessly. He obviously knew they were joking. Night Sorrow and the others were drinking wine to celebrate. Tianhuang City wasn't quiet. The elders and enforcers were all discussing what had just happened. The main thing was that the matter was too serious. Yu Kuan was the enforcer of the 100 Races Sect Elder Association and an Imperial Tribulation cultivator. A cultivator with such a high status and cultivation was killed by the Humanitarian League in an instant. Emperor Tang, Qin Shenjia, Elder Ling Shu, and Gu Qi were all sitting together. What do you think, Elder Qin? Emperor Tang asked. After pondering for a moment, Qin Shenjia said, I keep feeling that something is amiss. If the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders wanted to stop it, Yu Kuan would not have been killed. Since they did not stop it, it means that the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders have tacitly approved of it. These guys are too good at causing trouble. Bai Chiyuan was killed, Ling Tianji was killed, and now Yu Kuan is the same. If this continues, everyone will be killed by them, Gu Qi said. You can't say it like that. I like that brat. He's imposing and has principles. Every time he sees us, he's very courteous, right? There was a reason why he killed Yu Kuan. Just like what Elder Qin said, if it was unreasonable, would the Grand Elder not stop him? How can the 7th Patriarch not capture him? Elder Ling Shu said. Let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Grand Elder and the 7 Patriarchs will explain this matter. The Humanitarian League will also need to provide an explanation, Emperor Tang said. Strange, logically speaking, after such a big thing has happened, the elders should immediately convene a meeting, right? But there is no response. Gu Qi was still a little puzzled. They had gathered together to wait for the meeting of the elders to be held. The night passed, but there was no sign of activity. After dawn, a person was tied up in front of the stone tablet on the side of the square in front of the Heaven Wasteland Tower. There was also a large notice pasted on it. There was also a law enforcer holding a tray and a memory crystal ball. The notice announced Yu Kuan's misdeeds, as well as the fact that Yu Kuan colluded with the Demon Wing clan. The Humanitarian League, for the sake of the stability of the 100 Races Alliance, had captured the spy for the Council of Elders. Qin Shenjia, Emperor Tang and the others received a message from their subordinates and came to the martial arts arena together. After reading the notice, Qin Shenjia activated the memory crystal ball, and then the matter of Dark Feather was displayed in front of the crowd. Emperor Tang also fiddled with Dark Feather's hair bun that did not resist. Yu Kuan should be killed. The Yin-Yang compass and glass steel are on him, plus the steward of the Demon Wing clan. This is irrefutable evidence. Qin Shenjia's face was very ugly. Yu Kuan, who was also a law enforcer, was a traitor, which made her lose face. Last time when our people were fighting in the Heaven Wasteland Mountain, Elder Lin and the Great Demon King were forcibly commanded by him and were almost completely wiped out. The other 2 guards of the space passageway were killed. I suspected him, but there was no evidence. Now the evidence has finally appeared, Emperor Tang said. The appearance of the notice calmed the matter down, and there were people constantly coming to visit Night Sorrow's residence. It was very satisfying to solve the matter of the spy. After sending away the people, Yu Zhu brewed a pot of tea. Comfortable, after occupying the moral high ground, everything is justified. It's not occupying, we punish evil and promote good. We have always stood at the moral high ground. Whoever can't get along with us, we will kill them all, the Great Demon King said. Okay. Yuan, do we want the area of White Emperor City? Night Sorrow got down to business. Of course, why not? Our forces are strong and powerful. How can we develop without a territory? Without resources, how can we nurture future forces? The Great Demon King said. Then we will have to tell Xuanji, Night Sorrow nodded. By the time Alliance Lord thought of this, the territory would have been snatched away. When the Great Demon King and I returned, we told Chief Steward Jun about it. Our forces had already set out to occupy it. Ruisi glanced at Night Sorrow with disdain. Our Humanitarian League punishes evil and promotes good, not bandits, Night Sorrow said helplessly, shaking his head. Translator, Timothy_editor, Globeglotter, punishing evil and promoting good. But punishing evil and promoting good also requires food and cultivation resources. We have discussed this matter before. You just need to wait for the resources. Pu Luo glanced at Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow agreed with Ruixi's words. They had all learned bad things. Pu Luo used to be such a sunny and gentlemanly person, but now he was leaning back in his reclining chair and drinking tea. He was completely like a skinned landlord. The Humanitarian League expanded very quickly. The main reason was that no one dared to stop the Humanitarian League's development. No one dared to snatch the Humanitarian League's territory. First of all, the Humanitarian League was doing things righteously. Even if it was snatching territory, it had a good reason. Whoever snatched the Humanitarian League's territory would be in big trouble. In addition, in terms of strength, the Humanitarian League was also very strong. On the 100 Races Alliance's side, other than a limited number of giants, no other force or cultivator could suppress the Humanitarian League. Lu Qi found King Yewu and told him about the Grand Elder's arrangements. I also had the same idea. I originally planned to let Shi Yan go. But as you know, Shi Yan's fighting strength is not a problem, but his Jianghu experience is a little lacking. When you go, bring Shi Yan's clone, King Yewu said to Lu Qi. Lu Qi understands. Night Sorrow is the key to the development of our human race. Lu Qi will protect Star Moon City. Lu Qi nodded. Chapter 1907. With King Yewu's message crystal, Lu Qi went to find Shi Ying. From King Yewu's arrangement, Lu Qi knew how important Night Sorrow was to King Yewu. King Yewu's words revealed that anyone who provoked Star Moon City would die. Even the 100 Races Alliance was no exception. With Shi Ying's clone and 2 elders from the Council of Elders, Lu Qi set off. Night Sorrow didn't know about this. He went to see Jun Xuanji and chatted with him. Jun Xuanji was very cheerful and in a good state. Don't worry, I'm here. Uncle Shi Ying often rests in our Humanitarian League and even guides my cultivation. Jun Xuanji pointed at Shi Ying, who was fishing in the artificial lotus pond at the Humanitarian League headquarters. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. He knew about Shi Ying, an Emperor Tribulation expert, the true powerhouse of the divine capital. You're still laughing? I go buy fish every few days. Uncle Shi Ying definitely won't let go of the fish he catches. He'll eat it in all sorts of ways. If he can't catch any fish, he'll ignore me. Jun Xuanji said with a smile. Night Sorrow went to Shi Ying and bowed. Night Sorrow thanks Great Protector Shi Ying for taking care of the Humanitarian League. Young City Lord is too polite. The Humanitarian League is the most righteous force in the divine capital. I naturally have to take care of it. I mainly like this place, there are many fish here. Shi Ying pointed at the lotus pond. Protector Shi Yan, don't call me that. Yishang can't afford it. Just call me Yishang. Hearing Shi Yan's way of addressing him, Yishang quickly refused. At the same time, he was speechless. Many fish in the lotus pond? That's what he put there. The city lord has no descendants in his life. He only accepted Fentian as his disciple and Yu as his martial nephew. Before the 100 Races Alliance's Pioneer Assembly, the city lord had clearly stated that young city lord Fentian and young city lord Knight are the successors of the city lord of the divine capital. Shi Ying said. I've troubled Uncle Master with my matters. I can only work hard to cultivate and share Uncle Master's burdens. Night Sorrow sighed. Back then the god's capital had 2 city lords, Lord King Yewu and Lord Yen Wushuang, so you are indeed the young city lord. Shi Kuan told Night Sorrow something he didn't know. On T7, after chatting with Shi Kuan for a while, Night Sorrow left. He didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. Even if the Demon-Winged clan wanted to do anything to Jun Xuanji, it would be impossible. Ordinary opponents could be dealt with by Shi Kuan. If a giant-level character really came, King Yewu would feel that no one would have a good ending. Night Sorrow returned to the heavenly desolate city and practiced his spear arts in his mansion. Practice makes perfect, and Night Sorrow's spear arts were cultivated through familiarity. Night Sorrow's basic spear arts, the primeval origin spear art that the Grand Elder had taught him, was displayed. The compressed domain on the spear was constantly vibrating and fluctuating. The vibrations and fluctuations were extremely powerful. Mo Qianji went to the ethereal royal dynasty's territory, but she didn't act rashly. She knew how important Night Sorrow was to the human race and the 100 Races Alliance, so she had to be careful. She also knew that there weren't many opportunities. Once she acted, the human race would have defenses. Mo Qianji concealed her aura and went to the ethereal royal city first. She wanted to take a look around the Night Moon Villa. If Night Sorrow's parents, wife and children were there, and there was a chance she would act. Imo-Chinji didn't use the teleportation array. Instead, she crossed the city wall and entered the ethereal royal city. Then she went to the Night Moon Villa to monitor it. Imo-Chinji's soul power was very strong. She was very far away from the Night Moon Villa, and she could discover everything in the Night Moon Villa. Noticing the ice dragon skeleton in the Night Moon Villa, Imo-Chinji frowned. She could see that it was the core of a terrifying array. She calmed her mind and examined it. Then Imo-Chinji shook her head. She had analyzed that once the array was activated, she wouldn't be able to break it with her 8-star Emperor cultivation. In fact, she wouldn't be able to break it in a short period of time. During this time, other experts would be able to come and help. If she couldn't break the defensive array, then she would just have to wait. Imo-Chinji planned to wait for Night Sorrow's family to come out. It would be easier to capture them outside. However, reality disappointed Imo-Chinji. There was almost no one going in or out of the Night Moon Villa, let alone those related to Night Sorrow. Imo-Chinji came to the conclusion that the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city couldn't be moved. If it didn't work, she would change her strategy. Imo-Chinji left the Night Moon Villa and headed towards the Star Moon Lake. The existence of the Star Moon Lake was no longer a secret. Many people knew that it was the gateway to the Nine Regions world. When Imo-Chinji arrived at the Star Moon Lake, she used her energy to protect her body and entered the lake water. She approached the Star Moon City in the water. She didn't want to alert the enemy. She wanted to find an opportunity to strike. The people in charge of the Star Moon Lake were the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. They welcomed guests Lu Qi and Shering. Night Sorrow's 9 Regions world clone sent a message to the Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. The Qing Emperor came to the ethereal royal city to pick them up. Why didn't Imo-Chinji see Night Sorrow's family in the ethereal royal city? It was because Night Sorrow's 9 Regions world clone told her that his family members couldn't leave the 9 Regions world, let alone the primal chaos realm. The Qing Emperor prepared a banquet to receive Lu Qi, Shering, and the 2 elders from the Council of Elders. After the banquet, Shering brought an elder from the Council of Elders to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal royal city. Lu Qi and the other human elders stayed in the Star Moon City. When he noticed the Golden Body Holy Spirit, Lu Qi was shocked. The Golden Body Holy Spirit's merit aura wasn't as strong as Night Sorrow's, but it was still very rich. Its cultivation wasn't low either. Currently, it had the highest cultivation in the Star Moon Lake besides Night Sorrow. It was a 3-star Emperor. At this moment, the Golden Body Holy Spirit was sitting on the peak of the mountain behind the City Lord's residence and cultivating. It was wearing a red cloak, which was Yi Qingyin's masterpiece. The energy of heaven and earth was gathering towards its body like a funnel. Its cultivation caused a huge commotion. What's going on? Lu Qi pointed at the Golden Body Holy Spirit and asked. The Qing Emperor explained the Golden Body Holy Spirit's situation and its origin. This guy is very powerful. According to the time, his cultivation speed is terrifying, Lu Qi said. Yes, and he's very intelligent. He can communicate with everyone. We all call him Little Bone. The Qing Emperor nodded. At this moment, Imo-Chinji was approaching the Star Moon City under the cover of the Star Moon Lake's water. Her soul power was very strong, so she naturally detected Lu Qi and the other human elder. Damn it! Damn it! After detecting Lu Qi, Imo-Chinji cursed. She knew Lu Qi. He was a top expert of the human race. She was currently an 8-star Emperor and didn't have the confidence to defeat Lu Qi. Imo-Chinji wouldn't do something she wasn't confident in. Night Sorrow's 2 nests weren't convenient for her to attack, which gave her a headache. Wait for an opportunity and seize it. This was Imo-Chinji's decision. Time passed in this tense atmosphere. Night Sorrow's original body was in a state of enlightenment. Because it took a long time, King Yawu went to the outer region of the Void Purple Light Snakes to wait. The pressure of fighting the Void Purple Light Snakes was too great. Chapter 1908. King Yawu was looking forward to Night Sorrow's future achievements. He knew that in terms of aptitude, Fentian and Night Sorrow weren't on the same level. There was a huge difference. Fentian's current achievements were the result of time and hard work. King Yawu estimated that after Night Sorrow's epiphany, even if he couldn't enter the Emperor realm, his destruction and void attributes would be greatly improved. It wasn't that King Yawu had high expectations. It was just that epiphany was too rare. One epiphany was equivalent to thousands or even tens of thousands of years of cultivation. During normal cultivation, the Heaven Tao's influence was mixed together. It was extremely difficult to analyze, deduce, and comprehend. It was like extracting silk from a cocoon. However, the epiphany was different. During the epiphany, one's mind would be the clearest. The heaven and earth's influence would be displayed clearly. It was the process of absorbing and strengthening oneself. Night Sorrow didn't know the situation of the main body. He was looking forward to it too. He didn't know what realm he would reach after the epiphany. However, the longer it lasted, the better. The longer it lasted, the more he would comprehend the heaven and earth's influence. Imo-Chenji placed the spatial artifact at the bottom of Star Moon Lake. Every day she would check on the situation in Star Moon City. Originally, she hoped that Lu Qi was here to do something and would leave after a few days. However, the truth disappointed her. Lu Qi had taken root in Star Moon Lake. Every day he would guide the cultivation of the heaven monarchs stationed in Star Moon Lake. Sometimes he would bring a pot of wine to the mountain peak behind the city lord residence to chat with Xiaogu. Xiaogu couldn't speak, but his soul's spirit fluctuation was no different from an ordinary person. He had his own consciousness and thoughts. Little guy, your current body isn't very beautiful. However, there is a chance for you to become an ordinary person. There are a few heaven and earth treasures that can help you grow muscles. Later on, Night Sorrow and I will help you look for them. I think that even if we have to pay a huge price, Night Sorrow will be willing. Lu Qi smiled and said. He understood Night Sorrow and knew that Night Sorrow would give up everything for the people around him. The golden body saint spirit let out a joyful expression. It interacted with the people in Star Moon City every day and hoped that it could become an ordinary person. Imo-Chenji was annoyed. She decided to wait. She didn't believe that Lu Qi wouldn't care about what was going on in Heaven Desolate City and God's capital. Something happened there. Lu Qi had to go back. Night Sorrow cultivated steadily every day. His state of mind was good, so he was able to stabilize himself. His cultivation of the spear art was also getting better and better. He was able to combine the concept of the primeval spear art, the aura of the Ling Tian spear art, and the vibrations and waves of the spear art. The new spear art was not an absolute art, but it was very powerful. When the spear art was displayed, his body was surrounded by terrifying tremors and fluctuations. Lin Piaomiao had even thrown her weapon into Night Sorrow's domain. Even King's weapon would be shattered. This kind of power was very frightening. Almost no one's body could reach this level of strength. It was all protective energy, but to withstand this kind of continuous attack, the energy consumption was astonishing. Night Sorrow, what weapon will you use after your original body returns? The reincarnation spear or the heaven desolate halberd? Lin Piaomiao asked. I've been thinking about this problem. If it doesn't work, I'll take the path of fusion. This is also a choice. I have no other choice. Whether it's the characteristics of the heaven desolate halberd or the advantages of the reincarnation spear, I don't want to give them up, Night Sorrow said. It's also difficult for you. The Blood Kirin evil slaying spear also has an advantage that can't be replaced. You can only think of a solution between the reincarnation spear and the heaven desolate halberd, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. The Grand Elder came to see Night Sorrow and asked about his situation. He found out that Night Sorrow had an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. Then he counted with his fingers, looked at Night Sorrow and left. Because 3 months had passed since the reincarnation battlefield, Night Sorrow had been in an epiphany under 30 times time acceleration. He had been in an epiphany for more than 7 years. It was rare to have an epiphany for 7 years. Besides, before the reincarnation battlefield closed, Night Sorrow's epiphany had already begun. Night Sorrow, can your energy cultivation keep up? If your energy can't keep up and causes the epiphany to end, you'll be at a disadvantage, Lin Piaomiao asked. Yes. This is the tyranny of the heavenly artifact. Little Kong has been providing me with pure energy. My energy cultivation won't fall behind by much, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm looking forward to seeing your situation after the epiphany. I hope you can become an emperor straight away, Lin Piaomiao said. It'll be difficult. When I was in seclusion, my understanding of the void and destruction attributes was only around 50%. It won't be easy to cross 20% in one go, Night Sorrow said with a smile. According to your epiphany in the reincarnation world, it has been 5 months in the real world. With 30 times time acceleration, 5 months of epiphany. How many years is that in reality? As long as you don't wake up, your harvest this time is unknown, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. I'm also looking forward to it. If I reach the Emperor realm, my strength will increase by a lot. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He was also looking forward to the results after the epiphany. He was bullied by Mo Tianji for a year. He still had a lot of pent-up anger in his heart. After the desolate city Lord returned from the reincarnation battlefield, he discussed with King Yewu and the Grand Elder how to deal with the Black Dragons. King Yewu wanted to inform the Golden Dragon King about the situation and the investigation of the dragon language. He wanted to give the Golden Dragon King some time and let the Golden Dragon King make a decision. On this night Sorrow was cultivating, the Grand Elder and Lu Qi came. They wanted the first leader to recruit more members. However, Night Sorrow rejected them. Night Sorrow felt that the first leader was doing well. If they recruited more people they would have to train again. Grand Elder, it hasn't been long since the first leader finished recruiting new members. Lin Piaomiao said. It's because the first leader's training was very effective. The clan elders of the other clans want their juniors to be stronger, so they want to send their juniors in. The Grand Elder shook his head and said. It's mainly because Night Sorrow, you brought people in this time and completed the mission without any losses. They all trust you, Lu Qi said with a smile. Grand Elder, is it difficult for you because I rejected them? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder and asked. It's fine. I can handle this pressure, the Grand Elder nodded. He liked Night Sorrow's perspective on the big picture. Then recruit some people and train them on the second line. Also, I have a suggestion. The members of the first leader can choose to stay or leave after they reach the Emperor realm. If they are forced to leave, it will lead to a constant flow of people which will make the first leader unstable. If people come and go, the Brotherhood won't be stable enough. It won't be good for development. If I stay in this state for a long time, what if I reach the Emperor realm? Will I have to leave? With the arrival of a new leader, the team will have to be reorganized, Night Sorrow said. Then I'll talk to the clan elders of the other clans about this. If they don't agree you won't recruit anyone, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then the Grand Elder told Night Sorrow that the soldiers of the first leader had to leave after reaching the Emperor realm. This was the reason for the rule. The reason was that the clan elders of the 100 clans wanted to give others and the descendants of the 100 clans more opportunities. If the Emperor realm soldiers were still in the first leader, the others wouldn't have the chance to stand out. Chapter 1909. I can understand you. It wasn't appropriate to suggest changing the rules in the past because you had to consider convincing the masses. It wasn't enough to convince the masses in the First Army. You had to gain the approval of all the sect elders. You are the Merit Emperor and have made outstanding contributions in 2 battles. They shouldn't have any reason to object, said the Grand Elder. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He had to make arrangements for this matter as soon as possible. Bringing it up now was different from bringing it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm. There wouldn't be any gossip if he brought it up now. If he brought it up when Night Sorrow reached the Emperor realm, the other sect elders would think that the Grand Elder was fighting for the benefits of the human race. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were drinking tea as they talked about what happened just now. Night Sorrow, some things are a responsibility. Why don't you just let it go, said Lin Piaomiao. She felt sorry for Night Sorrow. He was responsible for so many things and so much pressure. Sister Xian, you're right. However, the soldiers in the First Army are worthy of respect. It's my honor to lead them to conquer the world, said Night Sorrow. It's the same. They will feel fortunate to have you as their leader, said Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Although it was easier to let go, there were some things that he couldn't let go of. Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. The God-slaying team had Sandalwood leading them. Long Jin and Chanyu were also there. He didn't have to worry too much. As for Xingyue City, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about it because Lu Qi was there. Yishang stayed in his mansion in the heavenly desolate city and cultivated. Every day he cultivated his lost skills and improved his battle strength. Night Sorrow cultivated for another half a month before the Grand Elder came. Night Sorrow put away his spear and invited the Grand Elder to sit down. Your mixed essence spear technique has changed. You absorbed the essence of King Yewu's Ling Tian spear technique and added in your own comprehension. It is much more profound than my mixed essence spear technique. The Grand Elder said to Night Sorrow. He felt that Night Sorrow was a genius when it came to cultivating spear arts. His decision to teach the primeval spear art to Night Sorrow was not wrong. The Grand Elder can also try to change it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm different from you. I was the one who created the origin spear art. I'm not good at using my soul to control the spear like King Yewu. However, the fusion of spear arts, vibration and wave techniques is worth a try. I'm going to take advantage of you, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Grand Elder, you're exaggerating. Night Sorrow still hasn't thanked Grand Elder for teaching me, Night Sorrow said as he poured a glass of water for the Grand Elder. You're an outstanding junior of the human race. If I don't teach you some things, who else can I teach? I'm here today to tell you a piece of good news. It's up to the Emperor Realm cultivators to decide whether to become a captain or not. This has already been implemented in the Heaven Wasteland Army. If you enter the Emperor Realm, you can also stay in the First Army, the Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, Night Sorrow said. It's a good thing. It's also a pressure and responsibility. I told Night Sorrow to let go, but he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his brothers in the First Army. Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder nodded. He knew how Night Sorrow felt. How could he not want to let go and do his own things? He had been sitting in the Grand Elder's position because of his responsibility. About the Demon Mountain, did the city lord and my martial uncle find out anything? Night Sorrow thought of another question. After they went there, the Demon Mountain was already empty. All traces had been erased. They saw ordinary dragon-headed people and snake-headed people elsewhere. They confirmed that it was the Demon-Winged Clan and the Black Dragons. The Demon-Winged Clan and the Flying Serpent Clan were mixed bloodlines. In the future, you have to be careful when you meet the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan. Things are complicated because of their bloodline. If you confirm something, our 100 Races Alliance will declare war on the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan, the Grand Elder said. Then the Grand Elder and Night Sorrow explained why they didn't really kill the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan in the past years. It was because everyone lived in the Celestial Realm and wanted to leave a way out for them. But once it was confirmed, the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpent Clan had no possibility of turning back. They could only kill them. M/K, Grand Elder, what's Long Zay's cultivation level? Night Sorrow asked. He should be at the level of the tribulation of the 4 emperors. Why do you ask? His problem will be solved by others, the Grand Elder said. Last time he brought 2 dragons to the Blood Kirin Mountain to cause trouble. Although it was the Blood Kirin race's matter, they injured my wife. I won't let this matter rest, Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid because of Long Zay's high cultivation level. Instead, he was full of motivation. Take it slow. I'll give you time. You can do it. These experts are accumulated over time, the Grand Elder said. After chatting for a while, the Grand Elder left. He came to inform Night Sorrow about the change in the rules of the Heaven Wasteland Army. In addition, there were more than 30 members of other races of the 100 Races Alliance who wanted to join the First Army. Of course, they were all Imperial Emperors. The First Army would not accept anyone who was not an Imperial Emperor. Only Night Sorrow had 3 special quotas. However, Night Sorrow had not used these 3 special quotas. Emo Chinji had never scolded anyone before. She had always believed that fists could solve any problem. If she could use her hands, she would not speak. But recently she had been scolding people every day. Who was she scolding? Naturally, she was scolding Lu Qi. Lu Qi stayed in Starmoon City and delayed her a lot. If Lu Qi was not here, Emo Chinji could easily take over Starmoon City. Once she took over the teleportation formation, she could enter the 9 Domains world. Then she would be able to make a comeback. But because Lu Qi did not leave, Emo Chinji's plan was disrupted. Lu Qi's stay in Celestial Moon City was too stable. After all, it was just a clone. He had come to Celestial Moon City to relax. Qing Lin and Qing Wan would often ask him questions about cultivation. Of course, good wine and good tea were the prerequisites. His days here were very comfortable, and the thought of leaving never crossed his mind. Emo Chinji felt that this was not good. She had to solve this dilemma. After thinking for a while, Emo Chinji decided to control the spatial treasure to get closer. As long as she reached the teleportation formation before Lu Qi, it would be enough. She avoided Lu Qi's interception and teleported to the 9 Domains world. Lu Qi could not go to the 9 Domains world even if he wanted to. After making up her mind, Emo Chinji controlled the shrunken spatial treasure to leave Starmoon Lake. After reaching the shore, she moved slowly toward the teleportation formation. Emo Chinji was very cautious. She only used the wind to move slowly and controlled the energy fluctuations to the minimum. Lu Qi did not notice Emo Chinji's movements. First, he felt that it was very safe and there was nothing abnormal. Therefore, he did not investigate in detail. Chapter 1910. The closer they got to the teleportation formation, the more nervous Imotinji became. Even though she had lived for countless years and her state of mind was extremely strong, she still couldn't suppress this feeling. Imotinji was not sure that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation without the body of her original body. However, with the body of her original body, she was confident that she could survive the next emperor's tribulation. She was suppressed by Yan Wushuang's soul because Imotinji had just gone through the tribulation of the 7 emperors and was in a weak state. Yan Wushuang's soul power had been controlling the human emperor's seal to prevent her from recovering and giving her time to cultivate. After a long time, Imotinji had recovered a little. She thought she could defeat Yan Wushuang and see hope. However, Night Sorrow had appeared and caused her soul to leave her body. Therefore she had fallen into this situation. Time slipped away. Imotinji looked at the teleportation formation again, but she was more cautious. She didn't even move for a few days. Only when she thought it was absolutely safe would she move with the wind and energy fluctuations. Heavenly Wasteland City. Night Sorrow cultivated for a while before Zhuodong called him to the encampment of the First Army. Emperor Tang and Elder Spiritual Tree had brought 30 emperors to the encampment of the First Army. Night Sorrow needed to receive them. At this time all the teams had gathered. The 10 squad leaders stood in front of each team, while the 30 newcomers were in a separate team. Seeing Night Sorrow, the 10 squads knocked on their breastplates to show their respect. I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. First of all, the Council of Elders has agreed to change the rules. In the future, when you lead the First Army and cultivate to the Emperor realm, you won't be forced to leave. It's up to you whether you want to stay or leave. Night Sorrow glanced at the 30 newcomers. It could be said that the 30 newcomers had exchanged for the change of the rules. That's great. Even if Captain enters the Emperor realm, he's still our captain. Zhuodong and the others were very happy. I didn't come to the First Army just to go through the motions. We're also not casual brothers. I can't promise that I'll stay in the First Army forever, but I'll at least wait until there's a suitable leader who can take care of you. Only then will I leave, said Night Sorrow. Zhuodong's eyes were full of joy. They knew that as long as Night Sorrow was in the First Army would be glorious. Following that, Night Sorrow walked in front of the 30 rookies. I won't hide it from you. Actually, I wasn't willing to accept you because you were a burden. You might have been a burden to my 300 brothers. However, for some reason, I made some compromises for my 300 brothers. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the 30 newcomers showed dissatisfaction on their faces. Which of them were not proud and arrogant after cultivating to Sovereign Emperor? They were highly valued by their respective tribes, but Night Sorrow's words were not polite at all. I can understand that all of you are very dissatisfied with my words. You are Sovereign Emperors and so am I. I will accept your challenge at any time. If you can win, then I will take back what I just said. If you can't, then obediently lie down. Night Sorrow sized up the 30 people again. I challenge you. Me too. Hearing Yishang's words, someone immediately shouted and there were a lot of people shouting. They were all Sovereign Emperors. After being defeated by Night Sorrow, they naturally refused to accept the challenge. Idiots. Flower without words muttered. Idiots. Bilingling also threw out 2 words. Tiger Cold, White Meng Meng and the others also shook their heads. Perhaps some people did not know Night Sorrow's strength, but they had seen it with their own eyes. Night Sorrow had defeated the Second Army alone and taken back the encampment, which was a display of his strength. In the reincarnation battlefield, he had easily killed the Sovereign Emperor with dragon heads, which was also a display of his strength. How could an ordinary Sovereign Emperor do that? Night Sorrow was an overlord among the Sovereign Emperors. You want to challenge me now? That's fine. You don't have to come one by one. All of you can come together. I want to see the strength of the 30 of you. Night Sorrow raised his arm and pulled out the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear from his back. For our dignity, even if we offend you today, we have to fight for our dignity. A red-haired man roared and then slashed at Night Sorrow with his battle blade. Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear shook and executed a new spear art. He did not release his domain, but when the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear was brandished, a domain was naturally formed. The compressed domain trembled, fluctuated, and extended in all directions. This trembling and fluctuation was deep. Other people's domain defense was ineffective. Under the impact of the domain trembling and fluctuation brought by Night Sorrow's spear art, it would be destroyed in an instant. If their defense was ineffective, they could only take a beating. It was also useless to resist. If they tried to block, they would be directly blasted away. Then they would be whipped by Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. As for attacking, Night Sorrow had the spacetime realm to protect his body. It could even be said that Night Sorrow was not willing to use the spacetime realm. When the Sky Emperor Nirvana palm in his left hand was used, it could affect a large area. Then the new members in this area would be attacked. In just a moment, the 30 new members were beaten into a sorry state. They could not even stand steadily. Chapter Mu Section O above. Stand up straight, don't lie down. Failure is not scary. The key is not to fall, or if you fall you can't get up. Now stand firm. Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear fell into the spear pouch on his back. Feel wronged? If it was me I would feel wronged too. However, there are rules everywhere. Do not accept weaklings. That is the rule of the first territory. Weaklings do not only refer to the strength of one's strength, but also the strength of all aspects. If you can't take this little blow, then go back. Tiger Cold, by Lingling, I'll leave the training of these 30 new members to the two of you. Flower without words, you go too. You also need to strengthen the formation. Night Sorrow instructed Tiger Cold, by Lingling and Flower without words. Tiger Cold, by Lingling and Flower without words stood up and tapped their chests with their left hands. After giving the instructions, Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Emperor Tang and Elder Spirit Tree. Sorry for the delay. Go to the commander's office. Night Sorrow will make tea and entertain you. Ah, well done. These little guys are used to being arrogant in their respective tribes. We need to teach them a lesson. Elder Spirit Tree laughed. Not bad. The soldiers of the First Territory are in good spirits. Tang Zong also nodded with a smile. Both he and Elder Spirit Tree were smiling, but they were extremely shocked. This was because Night Sorrow's strength was not comparable to an Empyrean Emperor's. Just now, all 30 rookies had been beaten. Without exception, they were all beaten in the same place, their right legs. In a group battle, it was very difficult to attack the opponent's spot and cause all of them to be hit. After Night Sorrow left, the 30 new members sat on the ground and rubbed their right leg. Sister Lingling, Captain was too ruthless. Our legs were almost broken. A white-clothed youth spoke. He was by Xiaoyu from the Nine-Tailed Fox race. You deserve it. What did I tell you? You listened to everything he said. Weren't you yelling happily just now? How dare you challenge someone like you? Bai Lingling went forward and gave the white-clothed youth a kick. You're asking for it. This time I only hit your right leg. If you don't know what's good for you next time, Captain will break both your legs. Tiger Cold snorted. Chapter 1911. In a group battle of the same cultivation level, it was already difficult to win without any losses, not to mention attacking only one spot. In the battle just now, Night Sorrow attacked casually, but all he hit were their right legs. Think about it carefully. If it's easy to be the leader of the First Army, then we don't need the First Vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance to be the leader. From today onwards, you're not allowed to leave the First Army. We'll lift the ban when the three of us are satisfied, Tiger Cold said. Isn't that too cruel? A woman looked at Tiger Cold and said, Cruel? If you think it's cruel, then leave. Didn't you realize that the First Army doesn't want you? Tiger Cold glared at the woman. The newcomers didn't say anything because the First Army, from Night Sorrow to the ordinary soldiers, didn't look them in the eye. They really didn't want them. I don't want to teach a bunch of useless people when the leader asks. I'll give you 2 hours to heal your injuries. After 2 hours, the training will begin. Hu Han left after giving his instructions. He was still practicing the joint attack formation with the brothers of his own team to strengthen his own abilities. After Yi Shang sent off Tang Zong and Elder Ling Shu, he took a look around the First Army and then went to the small martial arts practice field to practice his spear arts. He had to make arrangements for today's matter. He didn't have time to do it personally. The newcomers also started training. They had no reason to be lazy. Not to mention that they were newcomers, the original 10 teams of the First Army were all training. In the evening, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating and went to the original 10 teams to look at them. He pointed out some shortcomings and personally demonstrated them. Then he left the First Army. Sister Lingling, the leader, didn't look us in the eye. He completely ignored us. Isn't the difference in treatment a little too serious? Bai Xiaoyu muttered. He was Bai Lingling's cousin. How should I put it? You guys haven't reached the level where you need the leader's guidance. You guys can't do anything. His guidance from the beginning to the end? I can only say that I'm sorry, but the leader doesn't have time, Bai Lingling said. Night Sorrow returned to his residence and had dinner with Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow was quite satisfied with his current lifestyle. Within the 9-domain world, he had his 9-domain doppelgangers accompanying his parents, wife and children. This doppelganger dealt with matters outside while his main body cultivated. Imo-Chinji was still moving towards the teleportation array of Starmoon City. As she moved closer, she felt that her chances were increasing. On this day, he noticed Lu Qi flying towards the mountain peak behind the City Lord Mansion. Imo-Chinji took a deep breath. She flashed out of the spatial treasure and rushed towards the teleportation array. She had calculated everything. Once she reached the teleportation array and placed the Saint Spirit Stones to activate it, she would have enough time. Lu Qi would not be able to stop her in time. The moment Imo-Chinji appeared, Lu Qi knew who she was. His expression changed drastically as he rushed towards her. Imo-Chinji's white hair fluttered as she sent the guards flying. Even Shi Lai, who had arrived just in time, was sent flying. Imo-Chinji then threw a Saint Spirit Stone into the Saint Spirit Stone slot of the teleportation formation. The teleportation array glowed and activated. At that moment, Imo-Chinji landed on the teleportation array while Lu Qi was still flying. Imo-Chinji stood on the teleportation array with a smile on her face. Lu Qi had arrived late. But at that moment, the light on the teleportation array dissipated. The teleportation energy stopped and everything quieted down. The teleportation failed? Imo-Chinji did not understand. The teleportation array had already been activated. How could it fail? The teleportation crystal was lit up. The teleportation array was fine. Imo-Chinji, how dare you? Lu Qi was furious. He swung his sword at Imo-Chinji. Imo-Chinji did not know why the teleportation array failed, but it was too late for a second teleportation. In order to prevent Lu Qi from sending other experts to kill her, Imo-Chinji left the teleportation array. When Imo-Chinji flew out of the teleportation array, her feet shook and the teleportation array shattered. Then a battle broke out in the sky above Starmoon City. Qing Emperor collected the teleportation crystals that fell from the teleportation array and watched the battle. Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear arts, was shocked. He looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, "Sister Xian'er, Starmoon City is under attack. The teleportation array has been destroyed. The aura belongs to Imo-Chinji." "Let's go back and help," Lin Piaomiao said. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao did not have time to inform anyone. They took the teleportation array back to Ethereal Imperial City. Then they teleported to Greenwater City, which was the closest city to Starmoon City. Then they flew back to Starmoon City. "Sister Xian'er, don't worry. Imo-Chinji was teleporting to 9-domain world. I sensed it. I controlled the teleportation crystal's power of law and stopped the teleportation," Night Sorrow said. She must have used some method to hide from 7th Elder and entered the teleportation array. 7th Elder had enough time to react after the teleportation stopped. "She is no match for 7th Elder now," Lin Piaomiao said. At this moment, Lu Qi waved his long sword. Sword chi filled the sky and rushed towards Imo-Chinji. He was extremely angry. If it wasn't for the accident during the teleportation, Imo-Chinji would have already rushed into the 9 regions world. If that happened, things would be serious. He would be responsible for it. He wouldn't be able to answer to the great elders and King Yewu. How could Imo-Chinji not be angry when Lu Qi was angry? The plan was going well. But at the last moment, something went wrong with the teleportation. Now she had to bear Lu Qi's anger. Imo-Chinji had no problem dealing with Lu Qi when she was at her peak. But now, Imo-Chinji had the strength of an 8-star emperor. She could not compare to Lu Qi. She could only retreat. As Imo-Chinji retreated, Lu Qi chased after her. "Lu Qi, you ruined my plan. I will kill you." Imo-Chinji's body flashed. She dodged Lu Qi's sword chi attack. But as she spoke, she slowed down. Lu Qi's sword chi penetrated her protective shield and went through her waist. Imo-Chinji's white hair danced. Then she used her movement technique, Heavenly Concubine Phantom. Although Imo-Chinji had estimated Lu Qi's strength, she still underestimated him. Lu Qi pointed his sword at the sky and then slashed downwards. Countless sword chi flew towards Imo-Chinji. Back then, Lu Qi was able to turn the tide in Tianhuang City because of his strength. Imo-Chinji's white hair retracted and protected her true body. But as the sword chi collided, Imo-Chinji spat out blood. Lu Qi's sword chi was too overbearing. It was also because Lu Qi was furious and wanted to kill. Demonic wings blood escape. Imo-Chinji roared. Then, the wings on her back shone with a blood-red light. Then she scattered and retreated. K-Yong Ogio equals 8 freebie read 90,000 novels square root, sky-piercing sword aura. Lu Qi's sword danced again. He used his strongest technique, sky-piercing sword aura. As Lu Qi waved his sword, a blinding sword aura appeared. It flew towards Emo Tianji like lightning. It passed through her right wing. Chapter 1912. Emo Tianji, who burned her essence blood to activate her innate absolute art, was extremely fast. Although she was injured, she still managed to shake Lu Qi off with a few flashes and disappeared from the Star Moon City region. Lu Qi's face was full of anger. This wasn't the result he wanted. When Lu Qi returned to the Star Moon City teleportation array, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had also arrived. I'm ashamed. I didn't look after this place properly and allowed someone to sneak in. Something big almost happened. Lu Qi said. Seventh Sect Elder, you're overthinking. She probably had her eyes on this place for a long time. Night Sorrow invited Lu Qi into the city lord's residence and brewed a pot of tea. He knew Lu Qi wasn't in a good mood right now. It's my negligence. I didn't expect her to control a spatial treasure and sneak in. Lu Qi was still blaming himself. She probably came to the celestial realm at the same time as me after the reincarnation battlefield appeared. She has been guarding this place ever since. If it wasn't for Seventh Sect Elder, Star Moon City would have already been lost. If she sneaked into the 9-domain world, we would be in big trouble. Even Night Sorrow was a bit scared. Although his 9-region world clone could immediately take his family into the space, if a middle-class emperor came to cause trouble in the 9-region world, there was no way to stop it. Your teleportation array is very powerful. She couldn't teleport, so I had time to beat her back. Her innate absolute art is very powerful. Although I injured her, I can't make her stay. Lu Qi said. She runs very fast and can't be stopped. I can't chase after her. Night Sorrow was also very conflicted. She used her essence blood to activate her body's potential. She can't use it indefinitely. It's safer for you to return to Sky Desolate City. I'll keep watch here. This won't happen again. Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow took the teleportation crystal that Qing Emperor took back and set up another Emperor-ranked teleportation array. He then refined the Emperor-ranked teleportation crystal again. This time the refinement had increased the restrictions. As long as the amount of energy carried exceeded the amount of energy Night Sorrow had in his body, he would not be able to teleport. For example, if he carried a large amount of Holy Spirit stones or a cultivator who was stronger than a sovereign emperor in a spatial treasure, he would not be able to teleport. After setting up the teleportation array, Night Sorrow set up a space imprisonment array outside the teleportation array. At the same time, he refined a few array discs and gave them to Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. In order to show his respect, Night Sorrow also gave Lu Qi one. With the space imprisonment array formation, it was impossible to approach the teleportation array silently. Very good. If you do this, the chances of Emo Tianji sneaking in will be very low. It will be almost impossible. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, Lu Qi felt more at ease. Yishang then asked the Azure Supreme the Arch to open up the defensive array formation of Star Moon City, preparing for a full-scale defense. Under Lu Qi's supervision, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to Tianhuang City. After entering the residence, Night Sorrow saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi's original body. Your martial uncle will be here soon, the Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow nodded and sat down. He knew this matter was very serious. Emo Tianji, one of the 3 great heavens of the Devil Wing clan, had arrived. This was a danger to the celestial realm. He had to find her. In just a moment, King Yewu arrived. Following which, Lu Qi told him about Emo Tianji's appearance and her cultivation. Middle-class emperor. There are many people in the celestial realm who can counter her. It shouldn't be a problem. King Yewu said. Martial uncle, Emo Tianji's cultivation realm is high. Her strength will increase quickly. When she first entered the reincarnation battlefield, she was still a sovereign emperor. Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. Her cultivation realm is high. She will increase quickly in the early stages, but it won't be so easy in the later stages. This involves the compatibility of the soul and body. How can someone else's body compare to her original body? In a short period of time, it won't be easy for her to increase her strength. King Yewu said. Emo Tianji came to the celestial realm for a few reasons. First, she wants to take back her original body. Second, it's about her reincarnation. Other than these two, she probably wants to find allies and spies. Grand Elder said. She wants to take back her original body, so she wants to target me. The 9 region world portals are guarded by the 7 sect elders. With some defensive formations, Mo Qinji won't be able to break in. Misty Imperial City's Night Moon Villa has the defensive formations set up by Marshal Uncle. With Uncle Shirguan there, it's safe. Therefore, she won't be able to do anything to me. Now the focus is on other directions. Night Sorrow said. She won't dare to go to the Divine Capital. She might go to the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpents or find a place to cultivate. King Yowu thought for a moment and said, Grand Elder, find a fortune teller and get rid of her. That way she'll be safe. Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. A fortune teller was enough. Why did they need to make deductions? How can Mo Qinji not know about fortune telling? She must have a treasure that can disrupt the heavenly secrets and prevent divination. Even if she doesn't have a treasure, she'll find a way to prevent the fortune teller from divining her. Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow sighed helplessly. He was taking things for granted. Then King Yowu and Grand Elder decided to mobilize the spies of the various forces in the 100 Races Alliance. The Divine Devil Castle also issued a mission regarding Mo Qinji. They couldn't let Mo Qinji settle down and wander around the celestial realm as she pleased. Then they arranged for experts to wait outside the Black Dragons and the Flying Serpents. King Yowu, Grand Elder, and Lu Qi left. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were left to think about what to do next. Sister Xian'er, we should go back to the Misty Imperial City to capture her. Maybe there's a small chance that we can capture her. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. How is that possible? Mo Qinji is an expert of the older generation. She has a lot of experience. If she doesn't come out, it'll be hard for us to find her. I understand that you want to capture her, but it's better to be safe, Lin Piaomiao said. Sister Xian'er, you've overlooked a problem. I've told you before that I planted a soul imprint on Mo Qinji's hair and skirt. She might have changed her skirt, but the soul imprint at the root of her hair should still be there. As long as we're within a certain range, I'll be able to sense her. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and told her his thoughts. That's right. We can give it a try. If we meet her, we'll call for someone to take care of her. Lin Piaomiao was very excited after hearing Night Sorrow's words. She also felt that they could give it a try. What do you mean we can give it a try? If you want to take care of someone, how can you not call for us? The Great Demon King, Pu Luo, and the others entered Night Sorrow's residence. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow recounted what had happened that day. Chapter 1913. That's fine. Although the chances of catching her aren't high, we can still try. Ruisi said. Not high. I don't think so. We all know how powerful she used to be. People like her don't believe in anything but strength. Therefore, I don't think she's gone too far. She's probably lying nearby healing. Yuzhu refuted Ruisi's opinion and expressed her own opinion. Yuzhu's thinking is correct. People like Mo Qinji believe in strength. Let's go near Star Moon Lake. Lin Piaomiao said. Soon after, the Humanitarian League set off and went to Misty Dynasty's region. After receiving news that Night Sorrow and the others set off, the Grand Elder began to worry. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Mo Qinji's main target was Night Sorrow. She was here for Night Sorrow. Don't worry, the Humanitarian League's people are all ruthless. They're going to catch Mo Qinji. She wouldn't dare send herself to them. King Yowu, who was drinking tea with the Grand Elder, laughed. That's true. They're all rather strong. Taking care of a middle-class emperor shouldn't be a problem. The Grand Elder sat down. He knew he was too worried. Night Sorrow and the others started searching near Star Moon Lake. Night Sorrow carefully sensed. As long as Mo Qinji was nearby, he would be able to detect her. Even if she entered a spatial treasure, her aura would still leak out. Night Sorrow and the others weren't in a hurry. They started flying around Star Moon Lake. When they were tired, they would roast some fish to go with wine. After searching for half a month, they had searched all around Star Moon Lake. They had practically searched all the areas 1,000,000 miles away from the shore. Yuzhu, it seems like your analysis was wrong. Perhaps she ran out and hid in another region to heal. Ruisi said. Not necessarily. It's just that we haven't found her yet. Yuzhu insisted on her opinion. Maybe we thought she was a coward. Maybe she didn't even leave Star Moon Lake. Let's just fly above the lake and search for her. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and came to a decision. She can't be that bold, right? Reese looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. You're not her, so you won't think about her decisions. Let's just do it like this. We'll just treat this as a sightseeing tour around Starmoon Lake, Night Sorrow said. Reese did not say anything because Rain Bamboo, Big Demon King, and Pu Luo agreed with what Night Sorrow said. Reese felt that Night Sorrow's idea was bold, but it wasn't impossible. At this moment, Mo Chinji was at the bottom of Starmoon Lake, recuperating in her spatial treasure. She was very annoyed. She didn't understand at the time, but she thought about it later. It was probably because the teleportation array had set up a restriction. She didn't know why, but she didn't meet the requirements for the teleportation array, so the teleportation array stopped after it was activated. Mo Chinji couldn't wait to kill Lu Qi because Lu Qi had caused her failure. But first, she had to recover from her injuries. Lu Qi had caused her quite a bit of damage. Lu Qi's soaring sword aura was wreaking havoc in her body, trying to destroy her body. This was one of the reasons why Mo Chinji didn't go far. She stayed at the bottom of Starmoon Lake. If she continued to run, she would have to burn her essence blood, which was very damaging to her body. Mo Chinji's realm was high, but healing required energy. She was an 8-star emperor, so it was very difficult for her to expel and refine the soaring sword aura that Lu Qi had left in her body. She had been refining it for a long time in the time acceleration, but she had only refined a small part of it. It would take a long time to completely refine it. Mo Chinji was helpless. She couldn't move because she had been exposed. The celestial realm would be on guard against her. Even if she went out now, she wouldn't be able to do anything. It was better for her to recover in peace. After searching half of Starmoon Lake, there were still no results. Night Sorrow brought the Humanitarian League group to Starmoon City. Everyone needed to rest. After resting for a day, Night Sorrow and the others planned to continue searching. Night Sorrow, Mo Chinji ran from the northwest direction. She was in a hurry, so she shouldn't have changed directions, said Lu Qi, who knew about Night Sorrow and the others' plan. Yishan slapped his forehead. During this period of time, he had been investigating the Starmoon Lake area to the east of Starmoon City, so he hadn't thought to ask Lu Qi. After knowing the direction Mo Chinji had gone, Night Sorrow started searching in that direction. Lu Qi had lost track of Mo Chinji after chasing for a while because Mo Chinji had burned her essence blood to use her innate talent. In such a situation, she had to either leave quickly or hide after leaving Lu Qi's search range. According to Yu Zhu's point of view, Mo Chinji wouldn't have gone too far. So, they just had to follow the path and search slowly. It would be best if they could find something, but if not, it would just be a waste of energy. After Night Sorrow and the others passed Lu Qi's search range, they started searching slowly. On the second night, Yishang raised his arm and stopped the people behind him because he felt a faint soul aura from himself. What's going on? Asked Lin Piaomiao. I feel my soul presence, but I can't pinpoint its location. It means it's not in the same space as me, but it's not too far away. Night Sorrow said and retreated with the others. He knew Mo Chinji's soul power was very strong. If they got too close, Mo Chinji's soul power would detect them. After retreating to an area that Night Sorrow thought was safe, they stopped. So excited. What should we do? Asked Reese. It's still difficult because I can't pinpoint her exact location. If we search recklessly, she'll be alerted. I'm afraid she'll run away once she's alerted, said Night Sorrow. Alliance Master, don't worry. The 7th Sect Elder injured her. Pu Luo shouldn't be a problem. Plus, that cunning woman is still injured, said Reese. What do you all think? Night Sorrow looked at the people around him. Damn, she's just an 8-star emperor. No matter how famous she was in the past, she's weak now, said the Great Demon King. Then let's continue searching. Everyone get ready to attack at any time. If we make a big commotion, she'll notice and run away at any time. Everyone keep your soul power in check. After Yishang finished speaking, he went to the area where he had sensed the aura and slowly searched the area ahead. After moving forward for a while, Night Sorrow realized the feeling had weakened. Then he returned to the place where the feeling was the strongest. Then he searched left and right to confirm the area where the feeling was the strongest. Because they weren't in the same space, Night Sorrow could only confirm the distance before he could confirm the location. Chapter 1914. Inside the spatial treasure, Mo Chinji was refining Lu Qi's soaring sword force. When the energy in her body was almost depleted, Mo Chinji decided to take some elixirs to recover. While taking the elixirs, she used her soul power to scan outside the spatial treasure. Chenji's expression changed. Chenji's expression changed. She had discovered Yi Shang and the others. This was a fatal crisis for her. She was not in a good state at the moment. Her body was still ravaged by the soaring sword force and the aftereffects of burning her essence blood. Besides, Chenji also knew that the people searching for her were not newbies. Pu Luo was a registered expert in the Demon Wing clan. After all, there were only so many law enforcement elders in the 100 Races Alliance. There were not many who were strong in combat, and Pu Luo was one of them. Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King were also recorded in the Demon Wing clan. They were not elders, but their combat strength was outstanding. They had once led a group to heavily injure the Demon Wing clan. Otherwise, the Demon Wing clan would not have used Yu Kuan to ambush the group led by Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King. Yu Zhu and Rui Si were also recorded. They were the two strongest elders beside Pu Luo. Now that they were all here, Chenji felt the severity of the situation. She did not dare to act rashly. After thinking about it, Chenji felt that she could only risk her life. She was sure that Night Sorrow and the others had already discovered her. As for how, she did not know. Night Sorrow, are you sure she's here? The Great Demon King's voice rang in their divine seas. This was Pu Luo's suggestion. They communicated through soul voice transmission. Chenji was nearby. Even if she could not hear Night Sorrow and the others' conversation, she could tell from their lips. Yes, I'm sure she's nearby. She should be in a spatial treasure. She's not in the same spatial world as us, so I can't pinpoint her exact location. I can only use my senses to narrow down the range. Night Sorrow's voice rang in their divine seas. Then continued to narrow down the range. The smaller the range, the better. Once it's small enough, we can catch her, said Pu Luo. Then they continued to search. In order to prevent Chenji from ambushing Night Sorrow, Pu Luo followed closely behind Night Sorrow. In the end, Night Sorrow narrowed the range to a radius of 5 kilometers. He could not reduce the range any further. You guys split up and block the way. I'll grab her. The Great Demon King arrived at the center of the 10-mile radius. He stretched out his arms and released his domain, enveloping the 10-mile radius area. Chenji, there's no way you wouldn't know that we've made such a big commotion to capture you. But don't move. If you move, we'll discover you. You can't stay still either. Overturn the rivers and seas, fire of destruction. The Great Demon King shouted at Chenji. Then he shook his arms. The lake water within a radius of 12 miles flew up and compressed into a ball of water. Then the Great Demon King released a ball of black fire to envelop it. As the black flames burned, the water balls condensed from the lake water within a radius of 10 miles evaporated continuously, then turned into nothingness. If Chenji's spatial Dharma treasure was in the lake water, it would not be refined but would be discovered. It's not in the water? The Great Demon King looked at the soil at the bottom of the lake. However, he asked Night Sorrow mentally if he could still feel it. After receiving Night Sorrow's confirmation, the Great Demon King smiled. You're hiding it very well? Again. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The Great Demon King grabbed the air with his right hand and pulled out a large piece of soil from the bottom of the lake. Then he continued to refine it with the fire of destruction. Chenji knew that if she did not move, she would be in a passive position. The Great Demon King would soon discover her location. When the Great Demon King pulled out soil and sand from the bottom of the lake again, Chenji moved. She directly used the Heavenly Concubine Phantom. After countless phantoms appeared, Chenji's real body appeared in the area between Night Sorrow and Yu Zhu. Then she used the Demonic Wing's blood escape. Fight? Chenji did not want to fight because it was unrealistic. There was no one to bully here. Of course, Night Sorrow was easier to bully, but she could not bully him either. Her real body is here. Desolate Destruction Palm. Night Sorrow shouted. Then he sent out a palm with the strongest control effect. After sending out a palm with his left hand, Night Sorrow stabbed the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in his right hand at Chenji's figure, which he felt the strongest. The power of virtue supported the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear as he used the Destruction True Dragon incantation. How could Chenji fight with Night Sorrow? Yu Zhu and Lin Piaomiao had already charged over. Chenji's 3,000 feet long white hair danced in the air and broke through Night Sorrow's Sky Emperor Destruction Palm's control of space. Then her figure flashed as she used the Demonic Shadow Blood Escape. Night Sorrow's Destruction True Dragon incantation's confinement effect was dispersed by Chenji's white hair. However, the spear light still shot into Mo Tianji's chest. After a muffled groan, Mo Tianji's figure instantly sped up to an unimaginable speed. She didn't dodge Night Sorrow's attack because she didn't want to be interrupted. Pu Luo and the Great Demon King started to chase. The others followed closely behind. Among them, Pu Luo and the Great Demon King were the fastest. Night Sorrow used the Void Step, but he still couldn't catch up. Lin Piaomiao was pulling Night Sorrow forward. The speed of an Imperial Emperor and an Imperial Emperor's Tribulation Cultivator couldn't be compared, even if you were good at speed. This treacherous woman can even burn her essence blood? Yu Zhu cursed. Burning my essence blood is better than being surrounded, Lin Piaomiao said. Mo Tianji used her soul power to detect the pursuers behind her. She burned her essence blood and sped up. She had to get rid of them. After a while, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. He couldn't feel his soul power. This meant that the distance between them was too far. He wasn't strong enough. This was the reason why he couldn't catch up. 15 minutes later, Night Sorrow and the others saw Pu Luo and the Great Demon King. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry. This woman burned her essence blood without caring about the cost. We couldn't catch up, Pu Luo said apologetically. This woman is good at escaping. We didn't want this to happen. No one needs to apologize. Night Sorrow smiled at Pu Luo. We miscalculated. Let's not tell anyone about this. Otherwise we'll be scolded, the Great Demon King said. This is our mistake. If we inform the Grand Elder or King Yowu, this woman won't be able to escape. She got lucky this time. It's just that the Alliance Master gave her a shot, Pu Luo said. It's okay. She burned her essence blood twice. The aftereffects are probably very serious. She'll be obedient from now on. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that no one wanted this to happen. It'll be hard for her to use the strength of an Imperial Emperor. Her body can't take it. Her body will collapse if she uses the power of an Imperial Emperor. Pu Luo nodded. Do you think she'll notice the soul imprint I left on her? If not, we can continue to catch her, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 1915. This time Mo Tianji ran far away. She ran tens of millions of miles. Her body was very weak, so she went into the spatial treasure to rest. After entering the spatial magical treasure, Mo Tianji immediately released her domain and enveloped the inside of the magical treasure. She knew that she had something that Yi Shang and the others could use to locate her. If she wanted to be safe and recover, she had to solve this problem. Mo Tianji checked the items in the spatial treasure and storage ring one by one. She didn't find any problems. Then, Mo Tianji looked at herself and scanned her body with her soul power. When her soul power scanned her body, a light appeared under the hair at the back of her head. Bastard. No wonder I couldn't catch you in the reincarnation battlefield. You left a soul mark. Mo Tianji directly scattered the soul mark. The more Mo Tianji thought about it, the angrier she got. She had been famous for countless years and had never suffered any losses. No one could scheme against her. But recently she had fallen one after another because of Night Sorrow. Because she didn't scheme against Night Sorrow. After scattering Night Sorrow's soul mark, Mo Tianji rubbed her chest. Her chest had been pierced by Night Sorrow's spear light. Her robe was pierced and the place where she was attacked still hurt. Looking at the torn robe, Mo Tianji searched and found that there was only one set of robe in her storage ring. Now she could only change into it. With energy circulating, the robe was not dirty. After returning to Xingyue City, Night Sorrow called for a feast. The people from the Humanitarian League were unhappy because they had been careless and let Mo Tianji escape. 2Y Update K New Fastest X0, Ibiluchi was a bit puzzled. The people from the Humanitarian League were all cheerful people. They weren't like this normally. What's wrong with you guys? It's fine if you didn't find her. There's no need to be unhappy. Lucci said. I thought of a problem. After she is safe, she will definitely check herself. The soul mark I left in her hair will definitely be found. But today she is wearing a purple robe. I also left a soul imprint on her white silk skirt. The purple robe was cut by my spear. Is it possible for her to wear the white silk skirt again? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and the others and said, there really is such a possibility. Pu Luo's eyes lit up. What are you talking about? Could it be that you found Mo Tianji and she ran away? Lucci was stunned. Yes. She burned her blood essence and used her innate skill. We couldn't stop her. We chased her for millions of miles but she ran away again. Pu Luo said. You're all foolish. Since you've found her, you'll naturally find more helpers to kill her directly. Lu Qi glanced at Pu Luo. Seventh Elder, don't tell the Grand Elder about this. We'll get scolded. We'll continue to capture them, Night Sorrow said to Lu Qi. No, you just didn't think of it. She burned her blood essence again. She's having a hard time. Lu Qi smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow and the others were unhappy. There was no point in scolding them, so he comforted them. Night Sorrow shot her with his spear. I chased her for a while and made her burn a lot of blood essence. Pu Luo said. Seventh Elder, drink this jar of good wine. Night Sorrow took out a jar of green blood wine and gave it to Lu Qi. Actually, you've already won. You were able to find her and trick her. That's already very good. Lu Qi opened the jar of green blood wine that Night Sorrow gave him and poured a cup for everyone. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and the others left. They still wanted to look for her. Emo Tianji didn't stay in the same place this time. She recovered a little and left after scouting. She had to find a safe place to rest. The Humanitarian League's people were crazy. She was worried that she would be dug up again. Also, she couldn't go to human territory. She reckoned that the entire celestial realm was looking for her. After a fruitless search, Night Sorrow and the others returned to the ethereal imperial city. Lin Piaomiao ordered all the cities in the Misty Dynasty, even the small towns and villages, to pay attention to Emo Tianji's whereabouts. Pu Luo gave the order of the law enforcement clan elder. All the surrounding factions were to put Emo Tianji on the wanted list. He also personally went to the Godly Devil Castle to request for Emo Tianji's arrest. At the same time, he gave the mission of guarding the teleportation portals. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow and the others stayed in the ethereal imperial city. Emo Tianji's activities were also in this area. She couldn't use the teleportation portals. If she wanted to fly and travel in the celestial realm, it would be exhausting. Are you still thinking about Emo Tianji? Lin Piaomiao came to Night Sorrow, who was thinking by the waterside pavilion. It's a pity. I should have prepared some backup plans. The main thing is that I underestimated her. If we could get rid of her, we would have gotten rid of a huge threat, Night Sorrow said as he nodded. Just now, I brought a clairvoyant to Xingyue City and followed her traces. The results weren't clear. She has a way to avoid divination, Lin Piaomiao said. What we're worried about now is her sneak attack. However, I have a way to deal with that. Last time, my 9-domain world clone grabbed a strand of her white hair. That strand of white hair is with me. If Emo Tianji gets close, that strand of white hair will definitely react, said Yishang. Yes. As long as we don't let her get my body and harm Jun Xuanji, there's no point for her to come to the celestial realm. Lin Piaomiao's eyes lit up. She felt that Night Sorrow's thoughts were indeed meticulous. He could even think of some problems. Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world and obtained Emo Tianji's hair from the 9-domain world clone. He didn't pull the hair of Emo Tianji's body because it would alert her. Night Sorrow cut off a strand of the strand of hair and gave it to Lu Qi. Holding the strand of hair, Lu Qi understood what it meant. This is good. She'll know once she gets close. Lu Qi wrapped the strand of hair around her finger and used her energy to stimulate it. As long as Emo Tianji appeared, the strand of hair would react. After returning to the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow left a strand of Emo Tianji's white hair for Shi Yan, who was staying in the Night Moon Villa. Next, he went to the God Capital and left another strand of hair for Shi Yan's body. It could be said that Emo Tianji shouldn't get close to these 3 places or she would be discovered. After doing all this, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal imperial city. After settling down, Night Sorrow cultivated his spear art every day. His few absolute arts were already very mature. However, without his body, there was a limit to what his clone could do. Emo Tianji found a safe place to start recovering. She knew that it would take a long time for her to fully recover, but this was something that couldn't be helped. She had carelessly fallen into Night Sorrow's trap. She planned to recover first before going to the Black Dragons and start her plan from there. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.